Pokémon, I became a Pikachu. Hello again, dear adventurers of the multiverse. Thanks for joining us once more on this epic journey. Remember, this story is pure science fiction from our wild imagination, so don't go trying to summon dragons in your backyard. The rights of this amazing novel belong entirely to its original author. We are only the narrators. Do you want more adventures? Show some love to our YouTube channel with a subscription and a like, and if you want exclusive content, our Patreon is waiting for you with open arms. Chapter 226 Genes? Beep beep, random mission completed, please claim your reward. The return journey proceeded without any surprises. A day later, Ash and Misty successfully completed their mission, retrieving Melodic and Pidgeotto from the Pokémon Center. And Mu Chen finally received the electronic voice he had been waiting for. Previously, the system hadn't responded, and it was impossible for him not to be anxious. After all, he wasn't sure if he had actually won his battle with Snorlax. If the system insisted on making him fight a second round, wouldn't Mu Chen have nowhere to cry? Fortunately, his fears didn't come true, and the system reliably issued its reward. Anti-Cat, come on, let's spin the wheel. Having received the system's notification, Mu Chen naturally entered the much-anticipated roulette mode. Because the system had given him 10 base stat points last time, Mu Chen was filled with trepidation. System, you're not going to keep ripping me off, are you? This mission is no easy task. Under Mu Chen's expectant gaze, the pointer of the roulette wheel slowly began to spin. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. As the pointer slowly came to a stop, Mu Chen's heart was in his throat. Damn it. No way. Watching the pointer once again hurtle towards the base stats, Mu Chen's heart bled. Holy crap, system, you're not playing me like this, are you? Tick-tock, tick-tock. Fortunately, this time the tragedy didn't repeat itself. When the pointer stopped on the base stats, it actually moved again, albeit wobbly. And it was precisely this slight movement that brought the pointer to a brand new reward. Genes, yes, it was the word genes. Previously, after Mu Chen drew Dynamax, Genes had replaced Dynamax. Originally, Mu Chen didn't care at all. Anyway, it was hard to get this, even a move or a question mark would be fine. Unexpectedly, after the previous 10-point base stat boost, Mu Chen had accumulated enough good karma to pull off a lucky draw in this round. Ha ha ha. System, hurry up. What the hell is this gene? I want to claim my prize. The word gene itself implies something incredibly powerful. Like Dynamax, while it didn't offer any immediate combat advantage after Mu Chen obtained it, its benefits were undeniable in certain aspects. Moreover, thanks to Mu Chen's relentless efforts, Dynamax had reached level 0 with 7 experience points, just 3 more to reach level 1, a huge dream. This gene, in any case, couldn't be weaker than Dynamax, right? Congratulations, host, you have drawn a gene. Please draw again. What? What is this? Like that question mark, a second draw? Hearing the system's notification, Mu Chen was a little confused. A gene is just a gene, right? Why? Holy crap. Seriously? He was initially confused, but when Mu Chen saw the lottery page in his mind, he was shocked. Hundreds of Pokémon? Even legendary ones? What is this? Rayquaza? Groudon? Palkia? Even Arceus? Watching the Pokémon images flash before his eyes, Mu Chen was a little bewildered. Could it be that if he drew a certain Pokémon, he could get its genes? Damn. If that were true, if he drew a Rayquaza-level Pokémon, wouldn't he instantly become a superstar? At this moment, Mu Chen felt as if an endless, beautiful future was beckoning him. Come on. You're so shameless. I don't need anything too awesome, just give me that Snorlax-like resilience from before, let me have a taste. Mu Chen knew that the chance of drawing a legendary Pokémon from hundreds or even thousands of Pokémon was so small it was heartbreaking. Therefore, this thing's first target was only to take down a Snorlax-level opponent. At least Snorlax's toughness was something Mu Chen greatly envied. Ding ding, congratulations to the host for successfully extracting the Iron Mask Ninja gene. Base movement speed increased by 1.5 times, what the heck? Iron Mask Ninja? Looking at the picture he extracted, which resembled a giant bee, Mu Chen was dumbfounded. This thing increased my base movement speed by 1.5 times? This wasn't some base stat increase, but its own movement speed. If this system wasn't joking, when I used speed shift plus quick attack again, Wouldn't I become a little electric motor? No way. I have to try it. I must try it. Mu Chen knew that if his guess was true, then his combat power would be greatly enhanced. A 1.5 times increase in movement speed, what kind of concept is that? No joke, if before he needed to use quick attack to move, now he could achieve this instantaneous speed with just a little effort. However, Ash and Misty were planning to rest in Rock Town for a day. Therefore, even though Mu Chen was impatient, he had to endure it for the time being. There was no way he could find an opportunity to summon Melodic or Gardevoir for a battle in the middle of the night in this town. Unexpectedly, just as Mu Chen was preparing to suppress his restlessness and endure it for a day, an opportunity to experiment unexpectedly arrived. Ash, you've already come here. Although Ash and Misty had decided to rest in Rock Town for a day, it was still early, and the two naturally wanted to seize this rare opportunity to explore Rock Town thoroughly. Unexpectedly, at this moment, an arrogant voice came from behind Ash. This person was none other than Ash's nemesis, Gary. Gary? You've come to Rock Town too. Seeing Gary's arrogant figure, his flashy sports car, and the long-legged cheerleaders behind him, Ash was also surprised. Unexpectedly, he'd run into this guy again here. Haha. Ash, how about it? Want to battle me? But this time, we'll only compare our Pokemon's physical attack power, okay? You dare? Having been utterly thrashed by Pikachu several times, Gary had learned his lesson. Ash was simple-minded, he'd easily fall for any provocation. Right now, Gary's only thought was to beat Ash this time and get revenge for his previous defeats. Why wouldn't I dare? Ash never hesitated to accept any challenge, regardless of the rules. Chapter 227 Awesome Gene Amplification Power. How is this possible? What started as a confident, easy win turned into a shocking surprise when Xiaomao saw the result. This is Pikachu. Its speed, even the fast-moving Rapidash and other Pokémon wouldn't be able to match this. Initially, Xiaomao had deliberately provoked Ash into agreeing to his request. No special attacks from the Pokémon, just a melee to decide the winner. Under those circumstances, Xiaomao was certain he wouldn't lose. But reality is cruel. No matter how Xiaomao thought about it, he never imagined that this Pikachu's strength had increased so much in such a short time. This speed is insane. Pika. Dragging the Eevee he knocked unconscious, Mu Chen arrogantly approached Xiaomao again. Losing Eevee was secondary, looking at these young ladies was the main thing. This Xiaomao? No wonder he's a third-generation rich kid, he's changed girls car after car. These girls seem to be of even higher quality than last time? But why is this girl so dark-skinned? Why can't I see what she's wearing? Could it be? Suddenly, Mu Chen seemed to realize something. Zhi. Is there something wrong with your Pikachu? Why does it always get a nosebleed after winning a battle with me? Looking at the Pikachu with a nosebleed streaming down its face, Xiaomao was completely bewildered. This time, Eevee was utterly powerless against Pikachu. In the end, it didn't even manage to touch the hem of Pikachu's clothes before gloriously fainting. If Pikachu could get injured under such circumstances, Xiaomao simply wouldn't believe it. Therefore, what this guy thought at the moment was that Pikachu itself had a problem. Pika, you're the one with a problem. I'm perfectly fine. Hearing Xiaomao's question to Zhi, Mu Chen instantly sobered up. Damn it. Xiaoxia, that jealous girl, is still watching from behind. I can't let myself be exposed. Ha. Gary, stop making excuses. You lost again this time. I told you long ago, you can't beat me. Pikachu's nosebleeds have become a daily occurrence, but Ash doesn't seem to care. For Ash, completely crushing his arch-rival is more important than anything else. Pikachu. You little rascal. Why are you suddenly so fast? Unlike Ash, Xiaoxia is filled with surprise as she looks at Pikachu, who has jumped into her arms and is acting cute. She knows without a doubt what's going on with the nosebleed. But that's not what Xiaoxia is focused on right now. She witnessed Pikachu's terrifying speed during the battle. This is far beyond what it used to be. Right now, Pikachu could probably win a Pokemon race outright. Pika, awesome, right? Surprised? HMPH. I'm fucking surprised too. Mu Chen was very satisfied with the results of this practical test. This lightning-fast speed is amazing. Mu Chen could even feel that the increased speed made his quick attack charge much more powerful than before. That Eevee was knocked over by a single quick attack. Through this battle, Mu Chen had basically verified his thoughts. This gene is awesome, incredibly awesome. However, this is not enough. A day passed quickly. At this moment, Ash and Misty had once again embarked on their journey. When the night that Mu Chen had been eagerly anticipating arrived, he decisively summoned Melodic. Compared to Gardevoir, Melodic's recovery ability is much stronger. In order to test the limits of this gene's speed increase, Mu Chen naturally had to summon the resilient Melodic. I know, Melodic let out a dissatisfied cry as soon as it was summoned by Mu Chen. Clearly, this old woman was complaining about Mu Chen's fickle nature. Pikachu, Pikachu, what's with the complaining? Don't I treat everyone equally? Before Gardevoir evolved, I served you well, so now, as the older sister, shouldn't you give in a little more to your younger sister? Ignoring Melodic's complaints, Mu Chen decisively entered agility mode. Then, quick attack activated. In an instant, Mu Chen transformed into a blur, slamming Melodic to the ground before it could react. I know, caught off guard by Pikachu's sudden attack, Melodic was immediately taken aback. Melodic knew the yellow-skinned mouse's speed all too well, but who would have thought that this thing's speed had increased so much in just a few days? This truly caught Melodic completely off guard. Before it could even offer any resistance, it was already caught in Mu Chen's frenzied attack. I know. Terrified cries echoed from Melodic's mouth. Clearly, it was struggling to withstand Pikachu's relentless onslaught. Pika, this was nothing. This wasn't enough. Watch my Dynamax. Seeing Melodic in this state, Mu Chen's morale soared. With a speed boost, his overall strength had increased dramatically. I know, finally, when Mu Chen activated Dynamax, Melodic could no longer withstand it. Previously, facing Pikachu's electric motor-like attacks, Melodic could barely recover using its recover skill. Faced with a powerful boost from Dynamax, coupled with Pikachu's already terrifying speed, Melodic, after countless battles with Pikachu, was utterly defeated for the first time. Pika, ha ha ha. That was exhilarating. This is real boosting. Looking at the completely defeated Melodic, Mu Chen let out a wild laugh. You have recover, don't you? You have amazing recovery abilities, don't you? You still couldn't withstand my attack? Defeating Melodic didn't satisfy the excited Mu Chen. He tiptoed back to Ash's side, Gardevoir's Pokéball appearing in his hand. Today, I'm going to one-voke too. Sarna, the arrogant Gardevoir, had never been convinced by Pikachu. Today, naturally, it was no different. However, under the impact of Mu Chen's terrifying speed, Gardevoir's arrogance completely vanished. Chapter 228 Dark Market. Where are we? Why is there no one on the streets? After several days on their journey, Ash and Misty arrived at a somewhat deserted town. This is Dark City. I saw on the map that there are 2 gyms here. Misty picked up the map again at Ash's request. What? 2 gyms? Are they the kind you can challenge to get badges? Ash already had 6 badges. If there were 2 gyms to challenge, wouldn't he have 8 badges and could start preparing for the league tournament? Hearing Misty's words, Ash immediately became excited. Pikachu, Ash wasn't the only one excited. Even the lazy Mu Chen excitedly raised his head upon hearing Misty's words. Holy crap! If he could clock out early, who would want to work overtime? Wouldn't it be better to accompany Ash back to Pallet Town and peacefully wait for the tournament to begin? However, under the expectant gazes of Ash and Mu Chen, Misty gave a helpless bitter smile. Could you guys wait until I finished? There are indeed 2 gyms here, but neither of them has yet received league certification, so they don't have the authority to issue badges. How could Misty not want to end the journey and return to Cerulean City for a good rest? She had experienced so much with Ash on this trip, and she didn't know if it was good luck or bad luck, but he had encountered creatures like Zapdos and Snorlax, creatures most people would never encounter in their entire lives. As for Team Rocket, they were creatures most people would never even come into contact with. Is that so? What a pity. I thought I could collect enough badges in one go. But Misty, look where these 2 gyms are. We've come all this way, it wouldn't be right not to challenge them. As a battle fanatic, Ash was endlessly interested in gym challenges. Let me check. Found it. One is the Asgard gym in the east of the city, whose gym leader specializes in flying-type Pokémon. The other is the Cars gym in the west of the city, whose gym leader specializes in electric-type Pokémon. As the most meticulous member of the team, Misty is quite competent in map exploration. Is that so? Okay. Let's go. Pikachu, let's go challenge the gyms. Knowing the location of the target, Ash naturally didn't hesitate. Beep beep, random mission activated. After a series of high-intensity battles, let's relax a bit and experience a crushing defeat. Mission requirements: defeat the 2 gym leaders of the Asgard and Cars gyms. Mission reward: it's a freebie, 10 base stat points, no more. Failure penalty: you can lose even a freebie. Annihilation: no discussion, a freebie? After hearing that it wasn't a gym with a badge, Mu Chen's interest immediately waned. Let whoever wants to go to this kind of pointless competition go, I'm not going. But who would have thought that the system, not wanting to be left out, would suddenly appear? This unexpectedly easy question tempted Mu Chen. His base stats were already 385, with another 10 points, wouldn't he be breaking the 400 mark soon? Faced with such temptation, Mu Chen knew he absolutely couldn't refuse. Pikachu, to prevent Ash from impulsively sending Gardevoir or Melodic into battle, Mu Chen quickly responded to Ash. Ha ha ha. Misty, see? Pikachu and I are getting closer and closer. Seeing that Pikachu, the lazy one who often refused to battle, responded without hesitation, Ash laughed happily. I knew it, through my constant patient persuasion, Pikachu would eventually accept me. You two are really something. Misty knew Ash was a battle maniac. But what Misty couldn't accept was that even the lazy Pikachu had been corrupted by him. Xiaoxia had no idea that Mu Chen was only acting out of self-interest. Halt. This is the Asgard gym. What brings you here? Are you here to become my apprentices? Or to challenge me? Dark City wasn't large. With Xiaoxi's brisk pace, they arrived at the Asgard gym in the east of the city in just over 10 minutes. Facing the 2 muscular men blocking the gym entrance, Xiaoxi showed no fear. I'm Xiaoxi, a Pokémon trainer from Pallet Town. I'm here to challenge your gym leader. In the world of Pokémon, battles are naturally resolved through Pokémon. With complete confidence in his Pokémon, Xiaoxi wasn't afraid of the 2 muscular men. Oh? You've come to challenge our gym? Haha, great. Please come in. As a gym that hadn't yet received official recognition, every challenger was precious. Hearing that Xiaoxi had come to challenge the gym, the 2 muscular men immediately put on broad, smiling faces. Ha. So you trainers have come to challenge me? Very well, choosing my Asgard gym was the right decision. Now, let's begin our match. My gym challenge rules are very simple, one-on-one Pokémon battles. If you can defeat me, you will gain the recognition of our Asgard gym and become our esteemed trainer. Led by the burly man, Ash and Misty met the gym leader in the inner room. Being a privately run gym, it was far inferior to those officially recognized ones. The reward it offered was nothing more than an honor. I'm not interested in that esteemed trainer thing, I just want a gym challenge. One-on-one? Very well, you're the one. Pikachu, honors and such were unimportant to Ash. It wasn't officially recognized anyway. All he wanted was a thrilling gym challenge. Pikachu had already shown great fighting spirit, so Ash naturally wouldn't send any other Pokémon to participate. Oh? Pikachu? Then don't blame me for bullying you. Go, Scyther. Since they could create a gym of this size, they must have some skills. The gym leader of this Ask gym possesses a powerful fighting Pokémon, Scyther. Wielding its pair of sharp, scythe-like forepaws, Scyther was summoned by the Ask gym leader. Pikachu. Pikachu, what the hell? Such a huge Scyther? But so what? I'll easily crush it. Even without the speed boost, Mu Chen had previously stated he wouldn't be afraid of this trash. Chapter 229 The Powerful Pikachu. Scyther, use cut. As a privately run gym, Ask Gym naturally takes these challenging trainers very seriously. This not only provides them with ample battle experience, but also enhances their qualifications for applying for official gym status from the league later. Therefore, even though Ash only sent an ordinary Pikachu, the gym leader of Ask Gym gave it his all. Unfortunately, the Pikachu he encountered was Mu Chen. Pikachu, use Thunderbolt. Scyther's type is Flying Insect, making it vulnerable to electric-type moves. Coupled with Pikachu's powerful Thunderbolt attack, Ash had enough confidence, so he naturally had no other choice. Swoosh! Facing the oncoming Scyther, Mu Chen didn't choose to defeat it with a single Thunderbolt. How could Mu Chen miss such a rare opportunity to practice? Previously, Xiaomo's speed with Eevee was too poor, making it impossible to test the extent of his speed improvement. Now, the Scyther, known for its speed, was the perfect training partner. Pikachu, without any hesitation, Mu Chen decisively entered agility mode. Shhhhh, a single slash was unleashed, but it didn't even touch Pikachu's shadow, leaving Scyther completely bewildered. So fast? Scyther, activate agility, then use quick attack. Let's see how it dodges this. Pikachu's speed surprised the gym leader of Asgard. This Pikachu's speed was actually this fast? That's a bit exaggerated, isn't it? However, even so, you can't escape Scyther's attack. The gym leader had complete confidence in his Scyther's speed. Swoosh, with the gym leader's command, Scyther instantly transformed into a streak of emerald green light, shooting towards the still running Mu Chen. Pikachu, perfect timing. Seeing Scyther pounce at such speed, Mu Chen was not surprised but delighted. This was exactly what he wanted. Only under such extreme speed competition could he truly test his limits. Whoosh, in an instant, Mu Chen also activated quick attack. A streak of emerald green light flashed continuously in the arena, as if chasing something. But Pikachu's figure seemed to have vanished completely, as if it had become invisible. How is this possible? The gym leader was originally full of confidence, but he was dumbfounded. This is Pikachu? Are you kidding me? A Pikachu that's faster than Scyther? Gym leader stated that in his more than 20 years as a trainer, he had never seen such a monstrous Pikachu. Pikachu, just as the gym leader of Astana was in astonishment, Mu Chen gave up the speed contest. Boring, trash. Having confirmed that his maximum speed far exceeded Scyther's, Mu Chen naturally had no interest in continuing the game. This was, after all, a match where he easily defeated a weak opponent. Against Scyther, even without relying on speed, Mu Chen could easily take it down with a single thunderbolt. Zzz. Stopping the speed test, Mu Chen unleashed a thunderbolt at Scyther. Shhhhh, already at a type disadvantage and with a relatively low level, Scyther offered almost no resistance to Mu Chen's thunderbolt and collapsed to the ground, gloriously receiving its meal. Well done, Pikachu. Although Pikachu had previously ignored his commands, Ash was already used to it. As long as he could win, that was all that mattered. Trainer, you're incredibly strong. If you're willing, I request that you stay at our Asgard gym and become our gym leader. This gym leader was willing to pay any price to gain the league's recognition for his gym. After being thoroughly thrashed by Ash, he immediately adopted a subservient attitude. Haha, no thanks. My goal is to participate in the league championship and become the world's #1 trainer. So, this gym leader position, Ash was immediately taken aback by the offer of the gym leader position. What was this? Wasn't he supposed to be a prestigious trainer? How did he suddenly become a higher-ranking trainer? However, while the gym leader position might be somewhat tempting to others, it held absolutely no allure for Ash. Is that so? That's a real shame. If your goal is to challenge trainers from all over and become the strongest, then we have another gym in Dark City. Because of the competition, the Asgard gym leader certainly didn't want to be the only one getting thrashed. You mean the Kaz gym? I'm going to challenge it. Ash, of course, wouldn't guess what this guy was thinking, but challenging a gym was something Ash would never miss. Then I wish you a good start. Seeing that Ash was indeed preparing to crush his opponent, the gym leader felt immediately pleased. As the saying goes, sharing is worse than enjoying alone. Let's all experience this kind of humiliation together. What? How is this possible? Why is Electabuzz' attack ineffective against Pikachu? At this moment, Ash had arrived at another Kaz gym. This battle was much easier for Mu Chen than before. Scyther's attacks could still pose some threat to Mu Chen. But this Electabuzz? How? An electric-type Pokémon? Mu Chen completely ignored it. My Pikachu is not afraid of electric-type attacks. Now, it's our turn to counterattack. Pikachu, use Thunderbolt. Ash naturally already knew that Pikachu was immune to electric-type attacks, and he also had the confidence to win this battle. Electabuzz's electric-type moves are ineffective against Pikachu, but that doesn't mean Pikachu's electric-type moves are ineffective against Electabuzz. Pika, Thunderbolt? Forget it, why would I bother shocking this weakling multiple times? Ash wouldn't hesitate to use any stamina issues for victory, but Mu Chen wouldn't. This kind of trash, a single quick attack would be enough, right? Through numerous tests, Mu Chen had completely confirmed that after his speed increased, the power of his quick attack was significantly greater than before. The result was exactly as Mu Chen expected. One quick attack, and Electabuzz was promptly defeated. Trainer, I must say, you are truly very strong. I accept my defeat wholeheartedly. As a reward for your victory, I will tell you some news. Have you heard of the Grand Canyon? I heard that a large number of ancient Pokémon fossils have recently been discovered there. This car's gym leader was a bit more magnanimous than the previous one. After losing to Ash, this person gave Ash a clue about fossil Pokémon. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 230 Dynamax, Level Up. Ding ding, random quest activated. Young man, you've had your fun crushing some weaker opponents, shouldn't we continue? Come on, let's go see some ancient fossil Pokémon. Quest requirements, defeat an ancient fossil Pokémon. Quest reward, randomly acquire one of your opponent's moves. Defeat penalty, your opponent is a carnivorous creature, so if you fail, well, after crushing some weaker opponents in the dark market, Ash received a clue about the discovery of ancient Pokémon fossils in the Grand Canyon. Ash and Misty naturally wouldn't miss such a rare opportunity. Since it was on the way from the dark market to the Grand Canyon, they embarked on their journey without hesitation. As expected, Mu Chen also received a system quest. Mu Chen was quite satisfied with the system quest. At least the opponent was clear, and the reward was generous. Being able to randomly acquire a move from the opponent was a huge help to Mu Chen. The last time he had a similar quest was with Primeape. Although Mu Chen didn't use rollout often, it was still quite helpful. Therefore, Mu Chen was still filled with anticipation for this mission. Ancient Pokémon? What kind of toy could they be? And what skills could I possibly learn? With this anticipation for the unknown, Mu Chen and Xiao-Zhi's group embarked on their journey once more. Ah! Xiao-Zhi, look at the map, how far are we from the Grand Canyon? Traveling at a rapid pace, Xiao-Zhi didn't even have time to appreciate the scenery along the way. After 4 full days, there was still no trace of the Grand Canyon. We'll be there soon. According to the distance, we should arrive in at most one more day. What's the rush? Fossils are all underground, aren't they? They're not going to grow legs and run away. Xiao-Zhi, who loved water-type Pokémon, had absolutely no interest in fossils. But Xiao-Zhi was determined to see them. Just one day? Haha, we're almost there. Hearing Xiao-Zhi's affirmative answer, Xiao-Zhi perked up again. If it was only one day, he could still endure it. Pikachu, Mu Chen completely ignored Ash's eagerness. Although he was also looking forward to the mission, his primary concern was the approaching night. My Dynamax is about to level up. Mu Chen's Dynamax skill was currently at level 0 with 9 experience points. It only needed one more use to reach level 1. Mu Chen was incredibly excited about what would happen after the upgrade. Would it increase the range of growth, or the duration? These were temptations Mu Chen couldn't resist. Finally, after Ash and Misty had traveled for a while, the moonlight gradually descended. Patiently waiting for Ash and Misty to fall asleep, Mu Chen once again transformed into Demon of the Night, silently taking away 2 Pokéballs. These 2 Pokéballs were, of course, Melodic and Gardevoir. Since their speed was boosted, these 2 were no match for Mu Chen in a one-on-one battle. Therefore, Mu Chen has shamelessly started his nighttime battle practice mode of fighting 2 opponents at once. Although they despise Mu Chen's behavior, Melodic and Gardevoir can only grit their teeth and accept it because his strength is too great. I know, Shanna, 2 clear cries came from the midnight again. Summoned by Pikachu in the middle of the night, Melodic and Gardevoir naturally know what he wants to do. Without the slightest hesitation, Melodic and Gardevoir entered battle mode. Pika, what's the point? Aren't they just defeated anyway? Looking at the 2 girls posing for battle, Mu Chen curled his lips. After his strength greatly increased, Mu Chen can truly take down the 2 girls at will, and defeating them is no difficulty at all. With a cry, Mu Chen instantly transformed into a golden bolt of lightning, charging towards the 2 Pokémon who were waiting in ambush. I know, seeing Pikachu attack, Melodic immediately swung its snake tail, attempting to use the bind move to entangle it. However, this time, Mu Chen's primary target wasn't her. This woman's self-healing move was too overpowered, Every battle with her consumed a lot of time. At this moment, Mu Chen was focused on leveling up his Dynamax form. How could he have the patience to waste time with her? With a flash of lightning, Mu Chen instantly bypassed Melodic's obstruction, knocking the completely unresponsive Gardevoir to the ground. Shanna, Gardevoir, who had expected Pikachu to attack Melodic first, allowing it to use Psychic to attack from the side, was taken aback. Unfortunately, the initiative was lost. Gardevoir offered no resistance and was defeated by Mu Chen in one move. Pikachu, Dynamax, activate it. Let me see what you're like after leveling up. Without any nonsense, Mu Chen decisively activated Dynamax. Ding ding, Dynamax upgrade successful, current level, 1. Can enlarge a part of the host's body by 2 to 5 times within 10 minutes. Skill cooldown time, 48 hours, as expected. After Mu Chen activated Dynamax, the skill finally reached level 1. However, to Mu Chen's disappointment, it still only enlarged one part, merely doubling the time from 5 minutes to 10 minutes. Oh well, something is better than nothing. I'll just be more diligent and use it as soon as the cooldown is over. With a mentality that something is better than nothing, Mu Chen readily accepted the upgrade reward. However, Mu Chen's indifference meant Melodic and Gardevoir were completely doomed. Previously, this thing's Dynamax lasted 5 minutes, which the two of them could barely withstand together. Now that time has doubled. How can Melodic and Gardevoir still be a match? Shanna. Chapter 231 Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon, I'm finally here. Misty, look at all these people. That Cars gym leader wasn't lying to me. Ash and Misty had arrived at the Grand Canyon. Seeing the bustling crowd ahead, countless people enthusiastically digging into the rock face, Ash shouted excitedly. The purpose of so many people digging here was obvious. They were all searching for that ancient fossil. Ash, slow down. How are we supposed to dig? Having come all this way, Misty naturally wanted to participate. However, upon arrival, she suddenly realized that she and Ash seemed to have no digging tools at all. Oh, what's so difficult about that? We can use Pokémon? In Ash's opinion, these people digging by themselves were incredibly stupid. Did they know to use Pokémon? Humans had difficulty dealing with these rock faces. Pokémon would make it much easier, right? Pikachu, what the hell? Is that even human speech? Originally nestled comfortably in Zyuox's arms, Mu Chen exploded upon hearing this. Damn it! Why don't you dig it yourself? I'm fighting for you, protecting you, and that's not enough. You want me to dig ditches for you, but neither of our Pokémon can use the dig skill. Zyuox didn't object to Zyuoxi's idea, but the problem was that Pokémon without the dig skill wouldn't be very effective at digging. No problem. This is all about luck. I believe our luck will be excellent. Go for it, Pikachu, you can dig anywhere you want, luck is a mysterious thing. And Zyuoxi was equally confident in his own luck. Pikachu, go for it, my foot. Go for it yourself, I'm not going. Are you kidding me? I'm fighting for you, and now I'm digging for you? Don't even think about it. Faced with Ash's request, Mu Chen aloofly turned his head, gazing at the stars at a 4 or 5 degree angle. Ash, how can Pikachu do this? Can't you have Gardevoir or Melodic do it? Zyuox had no objection to having Pokémon dig for her. But having Pikachu is a different story. Seriously, what kind of emotional bond did Zyuox have with Pikachu? How could she bear to let Pikachu do such dirty work? Besides, it was always Zyuox who carried Pikachu. If Pikachu got covered in mud, wouldn't Zyuox suffer too? Pika, holy crap. Zyuox, all my pampering of you hasn't been for nothing. Hearing Zyuox's firm refusal trash, Mu Chen was moved. This Zyuox has a conscience. Of course, after being moved, Mu Chen naturally wanted to express his gratitude. Pikachu, you little rascal, stop it, it tickles. Misty was almost used to this little rascal taking advantage of her. Oh dear, you're right, Pikachu is a bit too small. Gardevoir, come out, use Psychic Pulse on the rock. Melodic, you come out too, use Water Pulse. Reminded by Misty, Ash realized what was going on. With Pikachu's size, digging in the ground seemed really difficult for it. I know, Shanna, Melodic and Gardevoir wouldn't refuse Ash's command. Although, this command really left the Pokémon speechless. Boom, with the two Pokémon's actions, a series of explosions suddenly came from the area where Ash was. Alright. I'll come too. Psychic, I choose you. This time, Misty didn't even plan to summon Starmie. No matter how she summoned it, it was always this silly, goofy duck that appeared. Cool, right, summoned by Misty. Psychic looked at her blankly. What's going on? Why did she summon me this time? The problem is, there aren't any enemies here. Why did you summon me? Is it lunchtime? Psychic, learned from Melodic and Gardevoir, use Psychic on the ground. Seeing Psychic's bewildered expression, Misty knew exactly what it was thinking. Cool, right, use Psychic on the ground? Is the ground the enemy? No problem, let's go. This time, Psychic didn't forget how to use Psychic. After receiving Misty's instructions, it immediately joined Melodic and Gardevoir in their earth-shattering operation. Boom, boom, boom. With Psychic's help, the booming sounds were even louder than before. Attracted by the explosions, the people digging around turned to look. Ha ha ha. Are these two kids idiots? Using Pokémon to dig? Aren't they afraid of damaging precious fossils? What a bunch of fools. What can they possibly dig up like that? Do they think they can break through the ground? Huh, ignore them, they'll find out soon enough. Seriously, there are so many fools like this, always some who don't believe in the power of nature. When everyone saw Ash and Misty's actions, they all laughed. It turned out that the method Ash had come up with was something the others had already thought of. But they were digging for fossils. If you bombard them with Pokémon like that, wouldn't you smash any fossils to pieces? Therefore, after laughing at Ash and Misty's actions, everyone buried themselves in their work again. However, what they didn't know was that the difference between them and Ash was that they were just ordinary people versus the chosen ones. Just because these people couldn't dig anything out with Pokémon didn't mean Ash couldn't either. Rumble, just as everyone was about to bury themselves in their work again, a violent shaking sound suddenly came from the ground. Damn it! Come back, Gardevoir, Melodic. As the three Pokémon relentlessly pounded the ground, a massive crack appeared. As the crack widened, all three Pokémon were immediately plunged into danger. Seeing this, Ash rushed forward and quickly retrieved Melodic and Gardevoir from their Pokéballs. However, Ash himself, having rushed too far forward, lost his footing and fell into the crack. Ash! Watch out! Seeing Ash about to fall into the bottomless fissure, Misty panicked and rushed to his aid. But how could a mere girl like her hold Ash back? Ultimately, she too fell in with Ash. Chapter 232 Underground, Scythe Helmet. Ouch, I almost fell to my death, ouch. Ash, where are we? Having fallen into a crevice, Misty and Ash, both in pain, looked bewildered. They hadn't expected such a dark, underground space to exist in the Grand Canyon. I don't know either, this should be underground, right? Ash, equally confused by Misty's question, replied. Pikachu, damn it. Be careful, you almost killed me. Because he was in Misty's arms, Mu Chen naturally fell with him. Although Mu Chen's speed had greatly increased, he couldn't fly. Falling from several meters high, it was no wonder it hurt. Ugh, thankfully everyone's okay. Pikachu, Psychic, are you alright too? After a short adjustment, Misty, rubbing her sore bottom, stood up. What was supposed to be a simple greeting turned into a tense moment for Misty. Only Mu Chen responded to her. You see, when they fell earlier, Psychic, that silly duck, was the first to fall into the crevice. However, now Psychic had vanished. Ash. Have you seen Psychic? Psychic might be a bit silly, but Misty wouldn't really abandon it. Now that it's fallen into this unknown underground and Psychic is nowhere to be found, how could Misty not be worried? I don't see it. Let's look for it. This underground space isn't big, it shouldn't be hard to find. Because of the crack above, Ash and Misty weren't completely out of sight in the underground space. After looking around, Ash concluded that the underground space wasn't very large. Cool, right. Cool, right. Just as Ash and Misty were about to search for Psychic, the silly duck's scream suddenly came from behind them. Startled by Psychic's scream, Ash and Misty quickly turned around. What they saw left them dumbfounded. Oh my god. What the hell are these things? Ash and Misty were completely bewildered as they watched several Pokémon chasing Psychic, wielding pincers that resembled scythes. There were Pokémon underground? And these were Pokémon they'd never seen before. Ah. I know. Misty. This is the ancient fossil Pokémon we've been looking for. This guy is called Kabutops. It's a rock-water dual-type Pokémon. Upon encountering this unknown entity, Ash's first instinct was naturally to consult a legendary Pokédex. And the Pokédex certainly didn't disappoint, giving him a precise answer. Hey, Ash, forget what it is, hurry up and help Psyduck. Misty panicked, watching Psyduck running around frantically, clutching its head, being chased by several Kabutops. So, you're not worried because this isn't your Pokémon? Haha, don't worry, Psyduck is perfectly fine, isn't it? Go, Pikachu, I choose you. Use Thunderbolt to help Psyduck. Having found the Pokémon he was looking for, Ash was now filled with excitement. Ha ha ha. I knew it, my luck is unbeatable. Pika Pika. This time, Mu Chen didn't choose to ignore Ash. In his opinion, these guys seemed to be the opponents given by the system mission this time. Water type plus rock type Pokémon? A bunch of trash. Looking at the opponent's yellowish-brown body, Mu Chen was worried that this thing was a ground-type Pokémon. But it turned out to be a water type, which he was super effective against, so what was there to be afraid of? Zzzzz. Sparks of electricity began to leap on Mu Chen's cheeks. At this time, that idiot Psyduck was running around quite happily, and Mu Chen was in no hurry to launch an attack. There were 5 or 6 enemies, so Mu Chen's choice was naturally to charge up and then unleash a big attack. At the very least, he needed to eliminate 1 or 2 first, the subsequent battles would be much easier, right? Crack. As electricity crackled across Mu Chen's cheeks, the 2 Kabutos lagging behind were immediately drawn to him. Although they were ancient fossil Pokémon, they still possessed basic intelligence. Seeing the crackling electricity, how could the Kabutos not know that this thing posed a significant threat? Pikachu, too trash, I haven't even made a move, and you're already rushing in to deliver yourselves to the slaughter? At this moment, Mu Chen's charging was complete. Seeing these 2 Kabutos rushing in to deliver themselves to the slaughter, there was no need for politeness. Thunderbolt, here we go. Zzzzzt. With Mu Chen's activation, a fist-thick bolt of electricity gathered from his cheeks and shot fiercely towards the oncoming Kabutos. Crack, the Kabuto charging in front perfectly demonstrated to its companions what cannon fodder truly meant. With a single 100,000 volts, the creature let out a single scream before collapsing and convulsing. Crack. Seeing its companion instantly killed, the other side helmet was enraged. However, its momentum was strong, but its speed was lacking. While this side helmet's movement speed was normally decent, it was no match for Mu Chen at this moment. Before it could even activate high-speed movement, Mu Chen easily created distance. Sizzle, the sparks of electricity flickered again. Mu Chen couldn't use his 100,000 volt charge, but a regular 100,000 volt, about the thickness of a forefinger, was still readily available. Without any hesitation, Mu Chen unleashed a 100,000 volt strike on the remaining side helmet. Crack, the same scream as before rang out again. Pikachu, holy crap. So weak? Damn it. What a waste of my charge. Seeing that this guy couldn't even withstand a regular thunderbolt, Mu Chen was speechless. If he'd known this guy was this weak, why bother using a charged thunderbolt? But something seemed off. Suddenly, Mu Chen realized something. If the opponent was this easy, was the difficulty of this mission even worth a skill? This was practically a freebie with 5-10 base stat points. Mu Chen was well aware of the system's quirks. This system seemed to have a precognitive ability, always setting the mission reward level based on the opponent's difficulty. And the difficulty Mu Chen was experiencing was kindergarten level. Just a few Kabutos, 1 thunderbolt each, was that worth a skill? Mu Chen simply couldn't believe the system would be so generous. This was completely unlike the system's usual behavior. Chapter 233 Fossil Pterosaur. Zzzzz. A small electric current started flowing. With a series of crackling sounds, the Kabutos chasing Psyduck successively entered their drawn state. However, Mu Chen dared not relax his guard in the slightest. The easier the battle seemed, the heavier Mu Chen's vigilance became. Something's not right. This is definitely not normal. Damn it. If what the system said is true, then these are the ancient fossil Pokémon, right? What else could possibly come out? Ha ha ha. Pikachu, well done. Go, Pokéball, capture Kabuto. Just as Mu Chen was still wondering what the final boss was, Ash had already made his move. While praising Pikachu, Ash skillfully threw a Pokéball at a Kabuto that was twitching. Pikachu, damn it. You're sneaking up on me? Seeing Ash's actions, Mu Chen was immediately shocked. This thing is ugly to a certain degree, can't you have any taste? My cheerleading squad, watching the Pokeball get closer and closer to Kabuto, Mu Chen despaired. But just then, a hurricane suddenly struck. Whoosh, accompanying the hurricane was a deafening roar that reached everyone's ears. Thud, as the hurricane swept in, Ash's Pokeball was inevitably blown away. Ah! What is that? The sudden appearance of the enemy startled Ash. In this enclosed space, Ash had assumed the enemies were just a few Kabutos that had been electrocuted. Who would have thought that behind the Kabutos, there was another hidden behemoth? Looking at the 2-meter-long Pokemon with its enormous wingspan and scarlet fangs, Ash and Misty instinctively took a few steps back. This was the instinctive reaction of the weak to fear the strong. Pikachu, here it comes. So this is the bastard you've got, isn't it? Unlike Ash and Misty's shock, Mu Chen became excited. The unknown is the most terrifying. The enemy's delayed appearance had caused Mu Chen too much anxiety, which actually distracted him. Now that he had finally seen the enemy, regardless of its strength, all his worries vanished. Whatever it was, could it be stronger than Zapdos? Stronger than Snorlax? His confidence had been greatly boosted by his battles against these powerful opponents. Moreover, having gained the speed-enhancing genetic energy, he was fearless against any adversary. If he were to face Snorlax now, he could easily crush it without a scratch. Speed is the ultimate weapon. This saying is not without merit. It was precisely because of this that Mu Chen was filled with absolute confidence in defeating this suddenly appearing Pokemon. Ash. This thing looks like a legendary Aerodactyl from the Cretaceous period. Upon seeing the suddenly appearing Pokemon, Misty seemed to suddenly realize something. She vaguely remembered seeing a description of this Pokemon in a book. Aerodactyl? Okay. Pikachu, let's battle. After a brief moment of shock, Ash recovered. Whatever kind of dragon it is, let's fight first. So what if it's from the Cretaceous period? Whoosh, seeing that this human wasn't afraid of its existence, Aerodactyl was enraged. It flapped its wings, creating gusts of wind, and furiously attacked Ash and his friends. Ah! Misty, watch out, the wind is so strong. Under the gale, Ash and Misty were blown backward. Clearly, with human physiques, they had no resistance to this gale. Pika, damn it! How dare it ignore me? He'd been striking a battle pose for ages, and this Aerodactyl completely ignored him, attacking Ash and Misty instead. Mu Chen was furious. Damn it, I've never been ignored like this since my debut. Zzz. No questions asked. Thunderbolt, here we go. Although Mu Chen's charge skill was still on cooldown, he wasn't afraid of this Aerodactyl at all. Judging from Ash and Misty's sizes, Mu Chen already knew what his opponent was. This bastard's type is Flying plus Rock. My electric type is a huge counter. Wah! Enraged, Aerodactyl didn't hesitate for a moment. It flapped its massive wings and pounced on Pikachu, who was still gathering its Thunderbolt attack. Pikachu, holy crap! So fast? According to Mu Chen's calculations, given its size, even as a flying-type Pokemon, its speed couldn't be that fast. But unexpectedly, its pounce speed made Mu Chen almost see through it. In a flash, Mu Chen's only option was to use Quick Attack to reposition himself. Boom! He had barely moved when he felt a gust of wind behind him. Turning his head, he saw that the rock he had been standing on had been smashed to pieces by Aerodactyl. Holy crap! So ferocious? After this exchange, Mu Chen's underestimation of its opponent vanished instantly. This thing's speed is no slower than his own. In fact, he might even be pounced on by Aerodactyl if he's even slightly careless. Looking at the shattered rocks and then at his own small frame, Mu Chen didn't feel like he was any sturdier than the rock. Wah! Chapter 234 The Fossil Pterosaur Gets Serious. Boom! 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 Countless rocks rained down on Mu Chen from above. Amidst this barrage of rocks, all Mu Chen could do was cover his head and flee in a sorry state. Holy crap! What the hell is this? It even has the ability to control rock attacks? That's insane. Mu Chen had initially thought this Aerodactyl was just a fast, close combat fighter. But who would have thought it could be effective at both close and long range? After a close-range pounce failed, Aerodactyl immediately changed its strategy. This rock-type move, Earth Shatter, came crashing down, nearly burying Mu Chen alive and turning him into Pikachu-like fossil. Ash! This is no good. This Aerodactyl is too strong. Summon other Pokemon to help Pikachu. Pikachu's most powerful single-target move, Thunderbolt, struck. But Aerodactyl only let out a cry of pain before launching a furious counterattack against Pikachu as if nothing had happened. Seeing Pikachu being beaten so badly, Misty panicked. Aerodactyl, that Pokémon, didn't seem like a kind creature at all. According to the records, it was a pure carnivorous Pokémon. Damn it. Hang in there. I believe Pikachu can do it. To Ash, Pokémon battles were always sacred. Unless it was an extremely urgent situation, Ash would never interrupt such a sacred one-on-one battle. This was Ash's unwavering belief in Pokémon battles. Ash. You're driving me crazy. Sidic, let's ignore it. Use water gun to attack Aerodactyl. Seeing Ash stubbornly stuck in his own little rut again, Misty was so angry she almost punched him. This wasn't a battle between trainers. Why was he being so fussy about a wild Pokémon? Completely exasperated with Ash, Misty had no choice but to let Sidic take the lead. Unfortunately, this silly duck drove Misty crazy once again. Cool, right, a water gun? What's that? Do I know how to use it? Why don't I remember it at all? Is my owner crazy? Oh no. My head hurts so much. Looking at Pikachu, who turned its head blankly and then clutched its head, Misty felt as if she heard the sound of shattering glass. Of course, there was no glass here. What Misty shattered was her already broken heart. Wah. Pikachu, running away without fighting back was simply not in Mu Chen's nature. After being cornered by Aerodactyl, Mu Chen exploded. You think I'm a ball if I don't unleash my power, Pikachu? No questions asked. Thunder Wave. While Thunderbolt could inflict considerable damage on Aerodactyl, its activation speed was limited. Moreover, with charge on cooldown, Mu Chen couldn't simply electrocute Aerodactyl with a single Thunderbolt. Therefore, Mu Chen's choice was Thunder Wave. You Aerodactyl are fast, aren't you? Well, I'll give you a Thunder Wave to slow you down. I want to see what you're like without your speed advantage. ZZZZZ. Without hesitation, Mu Chen unleashed a Thunder Wave at the Aerodactyl that pounced again. Whoa, suddenly hit, the Aerodactyl, its body paralyzed, was immediately alarmed. It wasn't afraid of a single 100,000 volts, but this speed-reducing skill was just too damn cool. Pikachu, haha, you're trying to be fierce with me. Seeing the Aerodactyl's speed significantly reduced after being hit by the electromagnetic wave, Mu Chen immediately became excited. Trying to ram it? That would get you struck by lightning. Of course, Mu Chen would never be so pretentious as to use a lightning strike that could clear electricity. But a 100,000 volts. HMPH. Here you go. ZZZZZZZZZZ. Seizing the opportunity to counterattack, Mu Chen certainly wouldn't hold back. Electricity surged wildly between its cheeks. One 100,000 volt after another, as if it were free, rained down on the Aerodactyl. Wah. Having gained a clear understanding of Pikachu, Aerodactyl no longer underestimated it. Instead of flapping its wings to chase Pikachu, it twisted and landed on a protruding rock. Immediately, waves of destructive power surged and converged around it. Wah. Even without Xiao-Zhi's reminder, just looking at the momentum of this attack, Mu Chen knew he absolutely couldn't withstand it. If he got hit by that, he'd be pulverized? Hell, I'd probably be completely obliterated. With high-speed movement enhanced, he activated Quick Attack. Without the slightest hesitation, Mu Chen charged desperately in any direction. Boom! Just as Mu Chen activated Quick Attack, the Hyper Beam had already arrived in front of him. The energy barrier formed by the Hyper Beam grazed past Mu Chen's golden figure, instantly blasting into the spot where Mu Chen had previously landed. Pikachu, damn it! That hurts. Although he dodged the direct attack of the Hyper Beam, even the aftershock made Mu Chen feel as if his body was being torn apart. Chapter 235 The Surprising Sidic. Pikachu, damn it! My smooth fur. Swept by the aftershock of a Hyper Beam, a burning sensation shot through his back. Mu Chen knew his back fur had been badly shaved off. The thought of being disfigured filled him with rage. So what if you're the only one with a powerful attack? In his fury, Mu Chen ignored everything else and, taking advantage of the cooldown of his charge skill, immediately activated it. ZZZZZ. Sparks of electricity began to flash on his cheeks. Sidic, use Psychic Attack to help Pikachu. At that moment, Misty also seized an opportunity to join the battle. While Hyper Beam was incredibly powerful, its side effects were equally significant. Generally, After using Hyper Beam, the user would be stunned. This was a protective measure taken by the body, unable to withstand such destructive power. As for the length of the stun duration, it depends on the user's strength. While this Aerodactyl used a terrifying attack like Hyper Beam, the price it paid was a body stun so long that only its eyes could move. Clearly, this guy's strength wasn't as hopeless as some might think. Cool, right, this time, Psyduck finally didn't disappoint Misty. With its limited brain capacity, Psyduck couldn't recall anything about water guns. However, it was familiar with psychic abilities. It used its brain constantly. After receiving Misty's command, Psyduck, with its wobbly gait, charged towards Aerodactyl. Immediately, a crimson energy shot out from its forehead. Whoa, unable to move, watching helplessly as this weak, almost unbearable duck dared to use psychic abilities against it, Aerodactyl's shock and anger were palpable. Damn it! Who gave you the courage? Weren't you scared after seeing my Hyper Beam just now? However, Psyduck ignored Aerodactyl's warning and frantically unleashed psychic attacks on its immobile opponent. Wah! Seeing the terror in Aerodactyl's eyes, Mu Chen sneered. Thunderbolt was powerful, but its biggest drawbacks were depleting its own electric-type energy and its unpredictability. Once Thunderbolt was activated, it was a large-scale bombardment, and how it struck was beyond Mu Chen's control. For this reason, Mu Chen generally wouldn't use Thunderbolt in one-on-one battles. However, having suffered the pain of being disfigured, Mu Chen was enraged. In his rage, Mu Chen wouldn't care about anything else, he'd use whatever was most powerful. As a result, what was originally intended as a random Thunderbolt attack turned into a targeted attack with Psyduck's cooperation. How could Mu Chen not be pleased? Finding Aerodactyl unable to move, Mu Chen naturally didn't have any other options. Thunderbolt, here we go. Crackling and popping, suddenly, bursts of lightning and thunder echoed in the dark underground space. Although the dense, dark clouds overhead couldn't be seen, the sound effect alone was enough to send chills down the spine of the timid. Hey! Pikachu, why are you using thunder? Psyduck, run! With such an obvious sound effect, how could Ioxia not guess what kind of skill Pikachu was using after all that fuss? Realizing Pikachu's intention, Ioxia quickly called out to Psyduck, urging the silly creature to escape the thunder attack's range. This skill was a map-wide, indiscriminate area of effect attack. With Psyduck's small frame, Ioxia truly didn't believe it could withstand a single thunder. Cool, right, however, Psyduck was once again reckless. Ignoring Ioxia's command, Psyduck continued its relentless psychic attacks on Aerodactyl. You ugly thing, how dare you look at me like I'm food? Under Aerodactyl's disdainful gaze, Psyduck finally unleashed its full power. The psychic energy surged endlessly from above, seemingly without restraint, towards the Aerodactyl. Whoosh! The Aerodactyl, however, was no longer arrogant. It had originally planned to unleash a Hyper Beam to show off. Who would have thought its attempt to be cool would backfire so spectacularly? While stunned and ambushed by this silly duck, the Aerodactyl didn't care. But, after recovering from the stun, the Aerodactyl found itself still unable to move. This was the most critical moment. Clearly, this duck it had looked down upon was an incredibly powerful being. At this moment, the Aerodactyl was filled with grief and indignation. Who could have imagined that two seemingly harmless Pokémon would be such terrifying beings? This wasn't Pikachu and Psyduck. This was two monstrous beings disguised as cute fools. Alice, it was too late for the Aerodactyl to regret its actions. Boom, 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 thunderous roars echoed as countless bolts of lightning seemed to tear through the void, crashing down upon the Aerodactyl. This was the last thing Mu Chen could control. As for Psyduck, Mu Chen figured whether it could dodge the lightning strikes was entirely up to luck. This little rascal might look incredibly stupid, but it was surprisingly resilient. Surely one lightning strike wouldn't knock it down, right? Cool, right. As the thunder continued to fall, Psyduck's pitiful cry rang out. Clearly, this stupid duck had disappointed Mu Chen. Watching it clutch its head, its little butt wiggling as it frantically scurried away, Mu Chen couldn't help but sigh. Damn, you're really tough. Chapter 236 Everything is for the sake of the baby. After the battle at the Grand Canyon, Ash and Misty were successfully rescued. However, Ash felt a deep sense of helplessness regarding the rescue. Aerodactyl. Such a precious Pokémon, only to be confiscated by Officer Jenny in the name of the League for Research. This deeply hurt Ash. Why didn't you say earlier that Aerodactyl couldn't be caught? Why did I waste a Pokeball? Previously, under the attack of Mu Chen's Thunderbolt, Aerodactyl, already immobilized, naturally became the perfect target. After a barrage of Thunderbolts amplified by charge, it was only lucky to survive. Seeing the unconscious Aerodactyl, Ash naturally threw out a Pokeball without hesitation. This time, Ash didn't fail. He caught Aerodactyl. But his connection with Aerodactyl ended there. No sooner had he caught Aerodactyl than the rescue team arrived above the cave. Ash's capture of Aerodactyl was witnessed by everyone. For the sake of the League's research, for social harmony, and to appease the grievances of other fossil hunters, Ash's Aerodactyl was ultimately surrendered. Mu Chen, however, was completely unconcerned. Aerodactyl? How, that ugly thing should go contribute to the great cause of scientific research. At this moment, Mu Chen's mind was entirely focused on his newly acquired skill and the egg. After defeating Aerodactyl and successfully completing the mission, he naturally received a reward from the system, one of Aerodactyl's skills. Mu Chen was filled with anticipation. Wouldn't it be wonderful if he could unleash a hyper beam or a landslide? Unfortunately, the system was uncooperative. Instead of the two skills Mu Chen expected, he received a mystic power. This skill was also a special attack. However, what Mu Chen couldn't understand was that this skill was untyped. Of course, it couldn't be called untyped. Normally, this skill would be a normal type. But through Mu Chen's experiments, he discovered that the skill's attributes changed depending on the location. For example, using it in water turned it into a water-type special attack skill. Naturally, Mu Chen was intrigued by this amazing skill and wanted to thoroughly research it. Meanwhile, another egg that had been on his mind hatched. Baby, a cute, innocent chirp filled the air, revealing an adorable appearance. Looking at the little creature that had hatched from the egg, Mu Chen felt a huge weight lifted from his shoulders. This creature's name was Lilirudal, and after evolving, it would become the beautiful grass-type Pokémon, Lady Finch. Knowing that his future concubine wasn't some terrifying toy, Mu Chen naturally wanted to quickly cultivate a relationship with her. After all, the system had given him a mission. Beep beep, the 7th link of the chain quest is complete, the 8th link is open. Raising a little girl, isn't that your favorite? Continue, young man, this little girl's personality is different from the previous one. Quest requirements, evolve Lilirudal into Miss Skirt within 30 days. Quest reward, don't tell me you're not interested in Miss Skirt. Failure penalty, useless. Chain quest interrupted. Because of this system quest, Mu Chen devoted almost all his attention to this little one that Xiaozhi held in his arms every day. However, this thing was incredibly aloof and never showed any interest in Mu Chen. Meanwhile, Xiaozhi and his friends had successfully arrived at Twin Islands, in a small town called Doll Town. Although small, the town was bustling with activity, even to the point of being packed with people. All of this was because the annual doll festival had arrived. This festival was entirely for girls. And since the doll festival coincided with the grandest and most important doll town, Xiaoxia exploded. Wow! Ash, you have to listen to everything I say today. So many dolls looking at the dazzling array of goods, Xiaoxia's girlish heart exploded, and she decisively entered a shopping frenzy. Of course, she wasn't the only one. Every woman present was just like her, completely caught up in the madness. Until ladies, girls, beautiful ladies. The annual doll festival competition is about to begin. All the ladies are welcome to register and participate. Our rules are simple, each person registers 3 Pokémon to battle. As long as you win the final championship, you will receive the most precious complete set of commemorative dolls in Doll Town. Doll Town's ability to attract so many people is thanks to this annual doll competition. Although it's called a doll competition, it's actually a normal Pokémon battle, but the prize. Pikachu, you have to help me. I want to win the championship. I want that commemorative doll set. At this moment, Xiaoxia's eyes were filled with dazzling little stars. Pikachu, it's just a cheap doll set, is it really worth it? No way. This is a rare opportunity, I'm going to make a demand. Seeing Xiaoxia's intense desire for the doll set, Mu Chen decisively switched to his bargain hunting mode. What? Pikachu? You're going too far. After Pikachu's series of gestures, Xiaoxia finally understood his intention. This guy was actually blackmailing her, demanding that after winning, they spend the night in the same room, and she had to cuddle with it. Although the two had slept in the same room before, it always ended with both of them suffering from insomnia and staring at each other until dawn. Clearly, Mu Chen held a grudge about that. Finally seizing an opportunity, he decisively used it to blackmail her. Pika, what are you so nervous about? What could I possibly do to you? If we're talking about taking advantage, what haven't I taken advantage of? Mu Chen completely failed to understand Xiaoxi's insistence. Alright. But you have to promise me you won't do anything reckless, or I'll really get angry. Finally, under Mu Chen's insistence and the temptation of the commemorative collectible doll, Xiaoxia gave in. As for going directly to Ash? Are you kidding? If Ash could command that bastard Pikachu, would Xiaoxia need to beg him? Because of the limited types of Pokémon, Xiaoxia had no choice but to endure this humiliation. For the doll, this girl is going all out. Pikachu, of course, Xiaoxia wasn't the only one determined to get it. For that bright future, I'm going all out too. At this moment, Mu Chen's eyes were filled with murderous intent. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 237, a task that doesn't allow laziness. I choose you, Pikachu. The Pokemon contest had begun. Xiaoxia, still resentful from being coerced by that bastard Pikachu, wasn't holding back. You want to take advantage, right? Then give it your all. Having already defeated 3 opponents, Xiaoxia summoned Pikachu again for her 4th battle. Pika, Mu Chen, filled with anticipation, didn't care much. They were all weaklings anyway, a single thunderbolt would take them all down. No pressure at all. What disappointed Mu Chen was that the system hadn't given him a task during this event. That was rather disheartening. Such an easy challenge, wouldn't it be better if he just gave him 5 points in base stats? Of course, even without a task, Mu Chen wouldn't give up. With Xiaoxia's conditions in place, Mu Chen's motivation was high. Zzz. The sound of electricity crackled as one after another, the young ladies fell victim to Mu Chen's merciless 100,000 volts. If Mu Chen had hesitated when facing these flamboyant ladies upon first arriving in this world, now he had become a ruthless butcher. No joke, these ladies, no matter how flamboyant, were still his. He had his heart set on one. Because he had a clear goal in mind, because he was determined to achieve it, Mu Chen completely let go, showing no mercy to these ladies. One Pokemon after another fell at his feet. Ding ding, random mission activated. Young man, don't you want to continue your 1 vs 3 campaign? Mission requirements: keep fighting until Xiaoxia wins the championship, and you cannot fail or leave the stage. Mission reward: unknown. Failure penalty: if you can't even help your goddess Xiaoxia fulfill her wish, what's the point of living? Summoned by Xiaoxia again, Mu Chen, who had planned to finish his mission with a few 100,000 volts, was stunned. What the hell? Before this mission appeared, I thought this crushing the weak journey was going to skip the mission altogether. But it's been half a day, and it's only just now? Does the system have a delay too? But what the hell is this mission? The reward is unknown? Are you kidding me? Is it really that difficult? Although the mission states that Mu Chen must complete a 1v3 battle to the end, surely the final reward shouldn't be unknown? Unless, in the later battles, it definitely won't be as easy for Mu Chen to win as it is now. Thinking of this, a hint of seriousness appeared in Mu Chen's eyes. This kind of women's doll competition, could there really be any experts? But how could Mu Chen know that although most of the women participating in this doll competition were weak, he actually did have one opponent, but that opponent was currently in the lower half of the competition, and would only meet Xiaoxia in the final stage. And that person was Go, a Babo. Used Venom Fang, a head of dazzling red hair, a pure white short skirt, and a pair of high-sleeved. This is none other than Jessie from Team Rocket. After their previous mission failed, Jessie and her team retreated, forced to leave the mountains and head towards the city. Because they had Charizard as their mount, their speed surpassed Ash and his group. However, it was precisely because Charizard was their mount that Jessie and her friends, moving too fast, missed the Delibird sent by Giovanni to retrieve their Pokémon. Now, Jessie, also in Dolltown on Twin Islands, was bursting with girlish enthusiasm. With Charizard and Rhyperior in her hands, Jessie was determined to win the championship. As for the Delibird sent by Giovanni, that thing was still flapping its wings on the ocean, chasing after Jessie and her friends. Alright. Let's congratulate Jessie on successfully advancing. While Jessie's strength was enough to get her utterly crushed by Mu Chen, she easily overwhelmed these pretty girls. She didn't even need the two powerful Pokémon Giovanni sent. With just Arbok, Jessie completely annihilated her opponents. Ha ha ha. Come on. Let's see who can beat me, Jessie. The commemorative collectible doll for the doll festival is mine, Jessie. Looking at the stage displaying the champion's prize, Jessie's eyes shone with fervent light. Of course, Misty, in the upper bracket, had also fought her way through the competition. Pikachu, you did a fantastic job. But are you tired? If you are, take a break. With Starmie and Siddiq, I think we should be fine before the finals, right? At this moment, Misty felt a bittersweet mix of joy and pain. Joy because she had made it to the top 8. If she won a few more matches, she could get the collectible doll she had always dreamed of. As for the pain, good heavens. If she had known her opponents were so weak, why had she agreed to that bastard Pikachu's request? Just thinking about that little rascal's hands, which never seemed to stay still, sent chills down Misty's spine. Alice, there was no going back. Words spoken are like water spilled. Misty wasn't about to take them back. Zaya-Aksha had been letting Pikachu participate in battles because she harbored resentment. However, after dozens of battles, she was starting to worry about Pikachu's health. Am I being too harsh on this little rascal, she thought. Pika, rest? No. Absolutely not. Although Mu Chen desperately wanted to stand aside and watch, the system, seeing through his thoughts, forcibly required him to fight from beginning to end. This was painful. With no room for escape, Mu Chen could only grit his teeth and persevere, choosing to be a true man. Zaya-Aksha, just you wait. I'll definitely help you win your doll, thank you, Pikachu. Looking at the earnest and determined Pikachu, Zaya-Aksha was deeply moved. Although this little rascal had threatened her and made some rather despicable demands, he was genuinely trying his best to help her. Of course, this was because Zaya-Aksha was unaware of the system's existence. Otherwise, alright. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful young ladies. The competition has now reached the quarterfinals. Let's cheer for these 8 beautiful young ladies. With a host's passionate commentary, the quarterfinals began. Meanwhile, Mu Chen, who was glancing around in Xiaoxia's arms, finally discovered the source of the task's difficulty. Holy crap! Musashi? How old is this woman, participating in this kind of doll contest? Chapter 238 The Imminent Final. Damn it! Go, my last Pokémon, Bulbasaur. At this moment, Misty had already stepped onto the stage of the quarterfinals. Her opponent was a young lady in a dress. And this young lady only had one more Pokémon left, her last Bulbasaur. Facing this ferocious Pikachu, the young lady was filled with helplessness. This is Pikachu? Why is it so powerful? Her Pokémon couldn't even withstand a single thunderbolt? But the facts were undeniable. Even if the young lady couldn't believe it, she could only grit her teeth and face it. Pikachu, use quick attack. Bulbasaur's type is poison plus grass, so Pikachu's electric type moves wouldn't do much damage. Although Misty wasn't Mu Chen's trainer, she obviously wouldn't stubbornly choose to fight head-on like Ash when it came to type advantages. Pika, quick attack? No problem, here we go. After continuously using Thunderbolt, Mu Chen's internal electricity was also greatly depleted. After discovering Musashi, Mu Chen was basically certain that the woman was his final opponent. Since he couldn't confirm whether Charizard and Rhyperior were still in Musashi's hands, Mu Chen was conserving his strength. If Quick Attack could defeat his opponent, Mu Chen wouldn't waste his electricity. Bulbasaur, use Vine Whip to protect yourself. This Pikachu's speed was astonishing, and the lady in the dress was naturally prepared. Dana, at the lady's command, Bulbasaur instantly whipped out 2 emerald green vines from its back, lashing them out in front of its body. Clearly, this was a defensive tactic. If it were a typical Pokémon that only obeyed its trainer's commands, it might be at a disadvantage against these vines, even getting bound. But Mu Chen wasn't some Pokémon. This guy was a genuine human. Pika, what the hell? A bunch of random swings and you think you can hit me? Little sister, you're overthinking it. Ignoring the vines flailing everywhere, Mu Chen forcibly stopped his quick attack sprint. Then, with lightning speed, He changed direction and charged fiercely at Bulbasaur's unprotected back. HMPH. I'd be stupid enough to attack your well-prepared defensive circle, oh no. Bulbasaur, watch out behind you. Pikachu's speed was too fast to accurately track. But the girl in the dress could still see the streak of golden lightning. Seeing Pikachu suddenly change direction, she was immediately alarmed. However, while her reaction was fast enough, Bulbasaur's reaction was thud. Before Bulbasaur could even turn around, Mu Chen delivered a powerful slam into its back. Looking at the Bulbasaur he had knocked to the ground, a cold smile appeared on Mu Chen's lips. HMPH. Trash. Trash indeed. The more Mu Chen battled against different opponents, the more he discovered the power of this gene. With just a slight increase in speed, he could easily defeat opponents who previously required considerable effort. If he could further enhance its special attack, wouldn't the power of his regular Thunderbolt be comparable to after a recharge? Even more so, what if he could enhance its defense, special defense, and HP? Then wouldn't he be able to directly engage in melee combat with Snorlax? The thought of that beautiful scene made Mu Chen intoxicated. Of course, he dared not think about such things at the moment only because his Bulbasaur had been knocked senseless and completely incapacitated. Let's congratulate Miss Xiaoxia on successfully advancing to the top 4. In this year's Doll Festival competition, Xiaoxia was one of the younger participants. No one had expected such a young girl to be so powerful. It's worth noting that Xiaoxia, who had already reached the top 4, relied entirely on a Pikachu to clear the stage. Even now, apart from the tournament organizers who registered the participants, no one knows what Xiaoxia's remaining 2 Pokémon are. Similarly, in the lower division, another contestant, Musashi, is also causing despair. Ha ha ha. Who else? Who else? This year's doll tournament champion is definitely mine, Musashi. Participating in this doll tournament, Musashi discovered that her strength wasn't so tragic after all. It turns out, everything before was just because her opponents were too strong. I, Musashi, am not weak at all. Musashi, I just went to watch the upper division matches. Those 2 brats are here too. And that brat named Xiaoxia is using Pikachu. Meow. With Musashi participating, Kajiro naturally had to cheer her on. And Meowth, seeing that Musashi's chances of winning were very high, decided to investigate her opponents. But who would have thought that upon checking, Meowth would see Xiaoxia and Pikachu. Upon spotting Pikachu, Meowth didn't even bother watching the match, it simply ran back. No kidding, these contestants couldn't even beat Jessie. How could they possibly defeat that wretched yellow mouse? Kid? Pikachu? Very well. Today, I, Jessie, will defeat it fair and square. Kajiro, Meowth, you 2 get ready. After I defeat that yellow mouse, after the match ends and I get my championship reward, we'll immediately make our move and snatch that yellow mouse away. Normally, Jessie might have hesitated. But now, with Charizard and Rhyperior, 2 formidable opponents, still in Jessie's hands, she was brimming with confidence against Pikachu. HMPH. Just you wait, kid. Last time, I, Jessie, was careless. This time, I will definitely avenge myself and defeat you. Of course, Mu Chen was unaware of Jessie's situation. At this moment, Mu Chen had already stepped back into the arena and begun his semi-final battle. Pikachu? Then I choose you. Onix, go for it. Xiaoxia's final 4 opponents were clearly several levels stronger than her previous ones. Seeing that Xiaoxia was again fielding Pikachu, this young lady chose a ground rock type Onix. No matter how powerful Pikachu's Thunderbolt is, can it really electrify an Onix? No matter how fast Pikachu is, what's the point against an Onix with such superior defense? Chapter 239 Finals, Xiaoxia vs Musashi. Damn it! How is this possible? The once confident young lady's pretty face was now filled with shock and confusion. According to her calculations, her Onix was a perfect counter to Pikachu. But who would have thought that this Pikachu was not only monstrous enough to use Thunderbolt, an electric-type move. It could also use the extremely rare special move, Mystic Power. Because there were many fallen leaves on the field, and Mu Chen had mastered the rules of using Mystic Power, he shamelessly stood on a fallen leaf when facing Onix. Activating Mystic Power on a leaf naturally made it a grass type. The grass type is extremely effective against Onix. The result was self-evident. Pikachu, well done. You little rascal, when did you learn this move, Unlike her opponent, Xiaoxia was extremely excited. Mu Chen had never shown off his mystic power to Ash and Xiaoxia before. This battle was the first time he had shown it to anyone. Pikachu, what's so special about that? I know so many things, you just won't give me a chance to show them. Watching Xiaoxia jump around excitedly, Mu Chen's eyes suddenly shone brightly. Damn it! Why didn't I notice before? This little girl seems to have grown up again? Wait a minute. I haven't been banging around lately, have I? I haven't noticed any changes? Could it be that because I've been banging around so often, I haven't noticed? Pikachu! You little rascal. We're still in the competition, soon. Xiaoxia noticed Pikachu's pair of sly eyes flashing with her jumps. Knowing this guy's nature very well, how could Xiaoxia not guess what it was thinking? Pikachu, damn it. You jumped up to show me, and now you're blaming me? Fine, for the final reward, I'll endure it and not provoke you. Thinking that Xiaoxia had agreed to his request, Mu Chen could only give up the idea of arguing with her. If he angered Xiaoxia and she used the opportunity to break their previous agreement, wouldn't he have nowhere to cry? You're very strong, I concede. Just as Mu Chen was about to shift his attention back to the match, Xiaoxia's opponent, the female trainer, chose to concede with a look of unwillingness. Even the Onyx, which has a type advantage over Pikachu, was instantly defeated, and this young lady really couldn't think of any way to defeat Pikachu. After some hesitation, she could only withdraw helplessly. Pika, what? It's over already? I haven't even started yet. He had just adjusted his mindset, and then she said she was not fighting anymore. A strange sense of loss washed over him, and Mu Chen suddenly felt like he had been teased. Alright. Let's congratulate Miss Xiaoxia on successfully advancing to the finals. The host didn't care about anything else, since one side had conceded, Xiaoxia naturally qualified for the next round. And while Xiaoxia was advancing, Musashi in the second half of the competition had already started her third round of matches. Damn it, little girl, you're pretty good, actually defeating my Arbok. But my next Pokemon is not something you can handle. Go, my mighty warrior, Charizard. Those who reach the semifinals are naturally not weak. Jessie's Arbok, after all, isn't Pikachu, and couldn't carry on its epic three-way victory. Facing this Graveler made entirely of stone, Arbok tragically lost a mouthful of teeth, utterly helpless. Its eventual defeat was, of course, unsurprising. Jessie wasn't particularly concerned about this. Her true reliance was still on her two fathers, Charizard and Rhyperior. Roar, Charizard entered the arena, its aura naturally powerful. Wow! Charizard, Jessie is amazing. Oh no, I thought Lily had a chance to make it to the finals, but she's encountered such a strong opponent. I didn't expect female trainers to be so outstanding these days. Amidst the exclamations of the crowd, Charizard easily defeated Graveler. After all, the difference in strength between the two was too great, and it couldn't be compensated for by attributes alone. Ugh, I give up. Lily gives up. The moment she saw Charizard enter the battle, the little girl named Lily knew the final outcome. And when Graveler was defeated by Charizard's flamethrower, she became even more desperate. In the end, she chose to give up the idea of continuing the fight, just like Misty's opponent. Ha ha ha. Jessie, am invincible. Having successfully forced her opponent to admit defeat, Jessie's morale soared. Pikachu? Just wait, Jessie, we'll soon show you what true power is. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful ladies. Now, let's welcome the final two finalists to the stage. They are Ms. Misty from the upper region, and Ms. Jessie from the lower region. Since it was a small competition held in a town, there wasn't much time between each match. Basically, the next round of the competition started immediately after the previous one ended. Of course, this is also a test for the contestants. Faced with such continuous battles, if the overall strength of the contestants is insufficient, then even if they make it to the end, they probably won't have much fighting power to speak of. However, this year's doll contest has welcomed two monsters. Whether it's Musashi or Misty, the two of them have won with an overwhelming momentum all the way, without encountering any opponents at all. The organizers of the contest are at a loss for what to do in this situation. Fortunately, judging from the strength of these two, the final is sure to be very exciting. Ha ha ha. Kid, you'd better admit defeat. I, Musashi, am determined to win this year's doll contest. Upon arriving at the competition venue, the imposing Musashi took the lead in provoking Misty. HMPH. Damn Team Rocket, I will not give you the championship. Misty was filled with hatred for Team Rocket. These despicable guys had already bombed her twice. The first time was okay, they only knocked her unconscious and then kidnapped her. But the second time, they almost disfigured her. How important is appearance to a girl who loves beauty? That goes without saying. Therefore, how could Misty possibly have a pleasant expression towards Team Rocket, who had repeatedly come to cause trouble? Stop talking nonsense. Go. Arbok. Afraid that Misty would reveal her identity, Jessie decisively chose to end the conversation. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Pikachu, it's all up to you. Chapter 240 Battle against Charizard. Chaba, Pikachu, the final showdown had arrived. Facing Musashi, Mu Chen dared not be as careless as before. This woman's first summon was Arbok, so it was obvious that Charizard and Tyrannosaurus Rex were still very likely in her hands. Therefore, facing this Indian Arbok, Mu Chen's choice was to take it down with the most effortless quick attack. Arbok used Dissolve. Seeing Pikachu running around the field, Musashi was not flustered at all. So what if you run fast? So what if you can beat my Arbok? For Musashi, as long as Arbok could deplete Pikachu's stamina, she would have gained something. That's why Musashi didn't care about Pikachu running around the field at all. Run all you want, run as fast as you can, my Arbok will just use Dissolve, protecting itself is enough. Others might be intimidated by Misty's other two Pokémon because of Pikachu's strength. But Jessie wouldn't. Jessie knew exactly what Pokémon Misty had. Victory would be hers alone if she defeated this Pikachu. Chaba. Chaba, Arbok's roar echoed across the arena. It spewed out mouthfuls of foul-smelling slime filled with poisonous energy. Pikachu, attack! Finally, with Arbok spitting, Misty couldn't stand it anymore. What was going on? Why wasn't Pikachu attacking? This Arbok seemed like it could be taken down with a single thunderbolt, right? Pika, what's the rush, you little brat? Can't you see I'm charging up? To conserve power, Mu Chen was currently running at full speed. His goal was to increase the momentum of quick attack once he reached maximum speed, so he could defeat Arbok in one strike. Hearing Xiaoxia's anxious cries, Mu Chen knew he couldn't delay any longer. Looking at the Arbok still relentlessly spewing nonsense, Mu Chen adjusted his angle. A flash of lightning, activation. Arbok? Here you go. Whoosh, with Mu Chen's flash of lightning, the phantom that the audience could see before completely vanished. Chaba, the golden phantom had barely disappeared when Arbok let out a mournful cry. Damn it. What a piece of trash. Come back, Arbok. Pikachu, you're going to die. Watch my second Pokémon, Charizard. He had hoped Arbok would take a hit from a thunderbolt before being dismissed. But who would have thought that this thing would just roll its eyes after being hit? Disappointed, Jessie could only recall it and release Giovanni's Charizard. Roar, upon its appearance, Charizard roared towards the sky. As one of the three starter Pokémon in the Kanto region, Charizard's ultimate evolution is always a powerful Pokémon that commands attention. Pikachu, just as I expected. Seeing Charizard enter the battle, Mu Chen showed no panic. Jessie understands Misty, and Mu Chen understands Jessie just as well. Charizard plus Rhyperior, huh? HMPH. Bring it on. Charizard, use Flamethrower. Last time Flamethrower didn't work because the opponent, Melodic, was a water-type Pokémon. This time, Jessie was full of confidence in Charizard's Flamethrower. HMPH. Yellow-skinned rat, I'll give you a good scorching kick. Roar, receiving Jessie's command, Charizard opened its mouth wide and unleashed a scorching flame at Pikachu. Pikachu, get out of the way. Use Thunderbolt to counter. Charizard's type is Fire Flying, and Pikachu's electric type moves can greatly counter it. Pikachu, get out of the way? Absolutely. Even from a distance, Mu Chen could feel the intense heat emanating from the flames. Only a fool would try to withstand such a terrifying flame-breathing attack. Without a word, Mu Chen twisted his hips, using his high-speed movement to decisively leave Jessie with a dashing silhouette. You wretched little mouse, all you can do is run? Charizard, keep using Flamethrower. While Giovanni's Charizard wasn't his main Pokémon, its combat strength wasn't low. Furthermore, this Charizard possessed quite a few moves. Unfortunately, Jessie was obsessed with Charizard's flamethrower. What could she do? It was just so cool. Whoosh whoosh, scorching flames were continuously spewed out by Charizard in the arena. Pikachu, on the other hand, continued to run around the arena, showing no intention of retaliating. Of course, Mu Chen wasn't running blindly. He was simply looking for an opportunity. Finally, after continuous breaths, Charizard reached the exhaustion stage that Mu Chen had anticipated. Damn it! Charizard, keep breathing fire. What are you standing there for? Seeing that Charizard had stopped breathing flames, Musashi panicked. He had Pikachu cornered, ready to take it down at any moment, and now he'd stopped? Roar! Faced with Musashi's roar, Charizard could only shrug helplessly. You try coming at me? Do you think I'm a volcano? I've been spewing fire for so long, don't I need to catch my breath? Pika Pika, Charizard needed to recharge, but Mu Chen didn't. Because of the previous battles, Mu Chen's internal energy had been largely depleted. Therefore, he was now using every ounce of energy into his previous desperate evasion was to recharge. And now, the opportunity had finally arrived. This was the one-hit kill he had been waiting for. Sizzle, electricity crackled, and countless sparks began to leap across Mu Chen's cheeks. Charizard, watch out for that yellow-skinned mouse's thunderbolt. Seeing Pikachu's stance, Musashi was startled. Was this yellow-skinned mouse going to retaliate? Musashi had experienced the power of Pikachu's thunderbolt countless times. Now that this guy was finally going to fight back, Musashi immediately tensed up. Roar, as a Charizard, it was naturally full of arrogance. A mere Pikachu's thunderbolt was not even worth a second glance from Charizard. Ignoring Musashi's warning, Charizard looked disdainfully at Pikachu, who was charging up its power, causing it to turn red from holding it in. Little thing, thunderbolt? Bring it on. Whoosh, after resting for a moment, Charizard once again breathed a flamethrower at Pikachu. Pikachu, at the same time, Mu Chen's charging up was also complete 100,000 volts. Here we come. Chapter 241 Battle against the Ironclad Tyrannosaurus Rex. Whoosh, sizzle, because Pikachu and Charizard weren't standing face to face, the two energies didn't collide. Instead, they passed each other. Roar, perfectly dodging the flamethrower's interception, Mu Chen's charged thunderbolt hit its target squarely. Struck by the thunderbolt, the arrogance in Charizard's eyes vanished instantly. Electric current entered its body, and Charizard could only let out a painful and miserable roar. Pika Pika, on the other hand, using quick attack to shift its position, Mu Chen perfectly dodged the flamethrower. Looking at the Charizard convulsing from the electric shock, Mu Chen sneered repeatedly. You idiot, trying to play God's contempt with me? Go ahead and keep contemptuous. Mu Chen had seen the look in Charizard's eyes earlier. Now, with this thunderbolt, Mu Chen had gotten his revenge. Pikachu, that's awesome. Misty was overjoyed to see Pikachu defeat Charizard. Now, she was just one step away from the final championship. Damn it. That wretched yellow-skinned mouse. Watch how my last Pokémon defeats you. Go, Rhyperior. Jessie was furious that her confident Charizard had been defeated by a single thunderbolt. Since Charizard couldn't beat her, she'd use Rhyperior, whose type advantage was against it. She wanted to see how Rhyperior, a ground rock type, could possibly defeat her. With Jessie's summons, Rhyperior, which had previously been assigned to James, made a dazzling reappearance. Rhyperior? Pikachu, come back. Let Starmie deal with it. Seeing Jessie summon this creature, Misty's first reaction was to summon Pikachu back and then send Starmie to battle it. Starmie's water-type moves are incredibly powerful against this guy. Pikachu? Pikachu, come back? No. No way. He'd been holding on for so long, and with the final match just around the corner, how could Mu Chen possibly give up at the last moment? This system mission required him to complete a 1-vote-3 victory. So what if it's a Rhyperior? Didn't I already crush it before? If I could crush it before, crushing it now would be even easier. Although Mu Chen's battery was almost depleted, with a speed boost, he wasn't worried at all facing this Rhyperior. Rhyperior, attack. Use charge. Like Charizard, Musashi only relied on Rhyperior's most powerful move, charge. In Musashi's mind, with Pokémon, you naturally use whatever move is strongest. The other moves? They're just for selectively using when crushing weaker opponents. Receiving Musashi's command, The Rhyperior immediately began its heavy charge, charging towards Pikachu. Boom! 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 The entire arena seemed to tremble under the terrifying impact of the Rhyperior's massive size. Pika Pika, 2B, do you really think you're a tank? Looking at the Rhyperior charging towards him, Mu Chen remained completely unfazed. This thing has the momentum, but its speed, even if it were a tank, it would be one of the most outdated models from World War I. It didn't even bother with high-speed movement. Mu Chen simply twisted his rear and disappeared from the Rhyperior's path. Whoa! The target suddenly vanished, leaving the Rhyperior completely bewildered. Rhyperior! That yellow rat is to your left. Seeing the Rhyperior looking around blankly in the arena, Musashi was furious. This stupid dragon is far inferior to Charizard. It's a pity Charizard's type is weak against it, otherwise how could it have lost? Whoa! Reminded by Jessie, Rhyperior once again took its heavy steps, swinging its arms to charge at Pikachu. Pika Pika, this stubborn thing. Watching Rhyperior still charging headlong, Mu Chen had almost decided the outcome of this battle. If I could lose to this kind of brainless idiot, I'd really like to find a block of tofu to smash my head against. Once again dodging Rhyperior's charge, Mu Chen activated his counter-attack mode. Because this thing's skin is too tough, Mu Chen, who had suffered a loss after using Iron Tail last time, had learned his lesson. Last time, I had no other choice but to use Iron Tail. But this time, HMPH. Take this mystic power. The more Mu Chen used it, the more he felt the benefits of the mystic power move. Although the damage was much less than Thunderbolt, the coverage was much greater. At least, against a ground-type bull, I'm not completely helpless, am I? Suddenly, a mysterious force struck, and the Ironhide Rhyperior, which was charging forward with its head down, let out a painful roar. You see, in order to maximize the damage, Mu Chen shamelessly used a type that was super effective against it once again. Water-type Mystic Power. As for where the water came from? Mystic Power is a skill that can basically be activated as long as the user can come into contact with an object of that type. So Mu Chen disgustingly spat a few mouthfuls at his feet. Who cares what kind of water it is, as long as it's water? Damn it! What kind of skill is this? Ironhide Rhyperior, hold on. Use Horn Drill. Seeing that Pikachu had used a water-type skill to attack Ironhide Rhyperior, Musashi panicked. Seeing the champion's commemorative collectible doll getting further and further away from her, the panicked Musashi chose to have Ironhide Rhyperior use its ultimate move. The Horn Drill skill concentrates all of the user's power into one point. If it hits the opponent, it's an instant kill. However, precisely because all the power is focused on the horn, the speed is. Pikachu, you're really tough. Even a single water-type attack couldn't kill this ironclad Tyrannosaurus Rex, much to Mu Chen's dismay. This thing's speed is disappointing, but its resilience is enviable. If I could get one of its genes, it wouldn't be bad, would it? Of course, all of this was just wishful thinking. Facing the charging ironclad Tyrannosaurus Rex, all Mu Chen had to do was leap high, dodging its attack while simultaneously sending a powerful iron tail shot towards its head. Chapter 242, a new round of rewards. Haha. It feels so good to be on a boat, Misty. We'll be at Cinnabar Island in just one more day. At this moment, Ash and Misty had already embarked on their journey to Cinnabar Island. After winning the doll festival, Misty naturally got her wish, the commemorative collector's edition doll set that Mu Chen had scoffed at. Mu Chen completely didn't understand girls' preferences. Of course, even without understanding, Mu Chen chose to respect them. The reason for all this? Pikachu. I'm warning you, if you don't behave, don't even think about me hugging you again. Faced with Misty's completely ineffective warning, Mu Chen readily agreed. No need for you to tell me, I'll behave. Just kidding, how long had Mu Chen been waiting for this opportunity? In his current state, even if he wanted to misbehave, it would only be taking advantage of her. He could take advantage of her during the day, why would he bother at night when the girl's vigilance was high? Besides, Mu Chen wasn't stupid. Everything takes time. If he scared the little girl the first time, he might never have another chance. As the saying goes, cast a long line to catch a big fish. Being able to sleep peacefully in the arms of this young lady was enough for Mu Chen. This was an experience he had never had in his previous life. After a good night's sleep, Mu Chen naturally felt refreshed. However, Xiaosha was a little sleep-deprived. There was no way around it. Pikachu, that rascal, had a terrible track record, and it would be a miracle if Xiaoxia trusted it. Therefore, Xiaoxia slept very restlessly that night. But who would have thought that the little rascal would actually be incredibly well behaved, simply curling up in her arms and sleeping soundly all night. Even so, despite the sleep deprivation, Xiaoxia was very satisfied. That little rascal Pikachu had finally grown up and become sensible. Now, having boarded the cruise ship bound for Cinnabar Island, Xiaoxia, facing the excited Ash, only wanted to catch up on her sleep. There was no way he wasn't sleepy after being on guard all night. Pikachu, Ash's excitement and Misty's drowsiness weren't what Mu Chen was paying attention to at the moment. Right now, he was excitedly bargaining with the system. System, I want to claim my reward, can you give me another gene? As the saying goes, one can appreciate the taste of food, and Mu Chen was now very interested in this gene. The amplification effect of this thing was much more reliable than that racial value. Ding ding, mission completed, reward issued, please draw it yourself, host. Faced with Mu Chen's shameless request, the aloof system chose to ignore it. Want a gene? Draw it yourself. I'm your system, not your father. Influenced by Mu Chen, this system, which already had its own consciousness, also began to act like it was the boss. What's with the stinginess? What's the difference between drawing it and drawing it? Come on, I want to see if I can get it in one go today. This wasn't the first time he had been ignored by the system, and Mu Chen was already mentally prepared for it. Whatever, as long as it's not a base stat, I'm fine with it. The 4 options on the roulette wheel are random base stats ranging from 5 to 50. While 50 is tempting, Mu Chen doesn't think he'll ever get that. After base stats, there's the random skill section. Mu Chen actually thinks the method of acquiring an opponent's skill after defeating them is more reliable. At least, whether it's Iron Tail or the mysterious power, the boost to him is significant. Does the skill from this roulette wheel, Thunder, count? If so, it's a fake one. After skills, there are the 2 things Mu Chen is most looking forward to, genes and question mark. Genes are self-explanatory. A single Iron Mask Ninja Speed gene was enough to put Mu Chen into takeoff mode. And question mark, it also gave Mu Chen a powerful electric balloon, fake. Mu Chen understands the importance of dealing with his own buffs. Back when he fought Aju, without that electric balloon, how could he have defeated Krabit? Moreover, after using the electric ball, Mu Chen felt the surging power. That power was almost as strong as the power the system had used to help him break through Sabrina's psychic control. This was power he could actually control. Furthermore, since the electric ball had a pseudo form, there must also be a real one. If a pseudo one was this powerful, what about a real one? Mu Chen had been eagerly anticipating this. Finally, under Mu Chen's expectant gaze, the pointer of the roulette wheel began to slowly spin. Anti-cat. Come on. As long as it's not a base stat, preferably no special moves either. I'll accept whatever the other 2 come up with. A 50% chance isn't low. Finally, under Mu Chen's anticipation, the pointer of the roulette wheel landed on the word gene once again. Pikachu, ha ha ha. I'm about to take off. Seeing that he had actually drawn a gene, Mu Chen roared excitedly. A gene. This is a gene. I don't care about the genes of so many legendary and super legendary Pokémon. Just add some genes from a Tyrannosaurus Rex, or some genes that boost special attack, and I can practically beat legendary Pokémon. Mu Chen had a rough idea of his current strength. Right now, he might have some difficulty facing legendary Pokémon or some powerful Pokémon. But against ordinary trainers, it was a complete annihilation. Even a slightly weaker gym leader, Mu Chen dared to challenge their main Pokémon head-on. If he could significantly increase his strength again, Mu Chen would actually dare to challenge legendary Pokémon. Unfortunately, this time the system wasn't as helpful as last time. Congratulations, host, you have successfully extracted Team Rocket's Meowth gene. What the hell? What the hell? Team Rocket, Meowth gene? Are you kidding me? Hearing the system's final response, Mu Chen almost jumped up in anger. Damn it. I went through all that trouble, fighting my way through 3 enemies to the very end, and all I got was a Meowth gene? That piece of trash, I completely crushed it in every single attribute. What use is its gene to me? Unfortunately, the system didn't care what Mu Chen was thinking. In his grief and indignation, Mu Chen could only accept this unfortunate fate. Ultimately, it didn't exceed his expectations. There wasn't even a tiny bit of improvement. Clearly, that Meowth trash couldn't provide any boost to Mu Chen. Just as Mu Chen was about to jump into the sea in his grief and indignation, the lily root doll in Ash's arms chirped at him. Normally, Mu Chen wouldn't bother with it. But this time, Mu Chen was surprised to find that he actually understood what the lily root doll was saying. Idiot? I'm an idiot? You're the idiot. Chapter 243 Civilized People. Pika Pika. The originally quiet journey became noisy because Mu Chen had extracted Meowth's genes. Strange, Zioxia, look at Pikachu and Lilligant. What's wrong with them? Why do I feel like they're arguing? I looked at the Lilligant in his arms and the Pikachu in Zioxia's arms, who were constantly chirping. What's going on? It was so quiet before, how did it suddenly start arguing? I don't know. I'm so sleepy. You can stay here and enjoy the breeze. I'm going back to catch up on my sleep. I didn't know, and Zioxia naturally didn't know either. At this moment, all Zioxia wanted was to go back and get some beauty sleep as soon as possible. Pikachu and Lilligant? Who knows what's wrong with these two little guys? However, what Zioxia and Zioxia didn't know was that Mu Chen really was arguing with Lilligant. Before, because Mu Chen's soul was human, he genuinely couldn't understand the voices of Pokémon. But now, with Meowth's genes, Mu Chen realized that he could actually understand Pokémon. Being able to understand speech was a good thing, but being mocked by a little brat was unacceptable. Previously, Mu Chen had sensed that Lilligant's attitude towards him wasn't great. But he really didn't expect that in this hateful little guy's eyes. He was just a complete idiot. As a real man, how could he tolerate being looked down upon by his intended concubine? Because Ash was present, Mu Chen wouldn't directly fight this little brat. But verbally. You bastard. You're the idiot. Your whole family are idiots. I'm so handsome and dashing, what kind of taste do you have? Let me tell you, little brat, you absolutely mustn't evolve. If you dare to evolve, I'll definitely Dynamax and use Speed Shift to serve you. Facing this little brat who kept yelling at him, Mu Chen viciously issued his threat. HMPH. Idiot. Big idiot. You think I'm afraid of you? If you've got the guts, come at me now, don't just talk the talk. Clearly, this newborn lily root doll was completely unafraid of Mu Chen. Why? Little brat, you wait, I'll deal with you tonight. Seeing this little guy dare to provoke him, Mu Chen was so angry he almost pounced on her. Damn it, he'd seen disobedient people, but never one this disobedient. Unacceptable. This absolutely couldn't be tolerated. If he couldn't even subdue such a little toy, how could he possibly survive in this world? After a fruitless argument, Mu Chen selectively ignored the lily root doll. Damn it, you just wait. With that idiot Zioxia protecting you now, I can't make a move, you just wait for my chance. At this moment, on the cruise ship, Mu Chen naturally had no opportunity to attack her. However, HMPH. There's always tomorrow. Because of their trip, Ash and Misty spent most of their time in the wild. I might as well spend a whole night skipping a match with Melodic and Gardevoir, but I'll definitely teach you a lesson, you little brat, and show you who's in charge here. Ignoring the still snarling Lilyroot, Mu Chen wiggled his hips and left Ash, heading towards the crowded area at the bow of the ship. Of course, he wasn't going there to see any pretty girls. When he first arrived in this world, he was a little amazed by pretty girls, but after seeing so many, they weren't that special anymore. His Misty was much better. Not only was she beautiful, but she could also. At this moment, Mu Chen's sole purpose in heading towards the densely populated area was because there were so many Pokémon there. Having suddenly gained the ability to understand Pokémon, Mu Chen was filled with wonder. Why not go and test it out? What Mu Chen was most curious about now was whether his ability allowed him to understand all Pokémon languages, or only a portion of them. This was what he was most concerned about. Without hesitation, Mu Chen, wiggling his hips, entered the crowd and began eavesdropping. And what he heard revealed a whole new world. Holy crap! These Pokémon are all pretty unique. This matchup is complaining about the food? And this Vulpix, you're complaining about suffocating. Damn it! I can take your place. Looking at the Vulpix being held tightly in the arms of a world-conquering young lady, Mu Chen's eyes revealed boundless envy. But that wasn't the worst part. When Mu Chen heard a Spearow muttering to itself, he was immediately captivated. Holy crap! A kindred spirit. A soulmate. This Spearow was actually using its high-altitude advantage to look down on the various young ladies, judging their voluptuousness. This is too much, too much? Damn it. System. Can't you be a little more powerful? For the next reward, I don't ask for anything else, just give me a flying type gene, I want to fly too. Mu Chen suddenly realized that he had only ever tried observing from below. He had never experienced a novel perspective like Spearow's aerial view. After experimenting with this newly acquired ability, Mu Chen finally made a positive judgment. Meowth is really powerful. At least he can understand what all the Pokémon he has encountered are saying. Haha. With this ability, I can finally communicate with Pokémon. Thinking about how he could only communicate with Melodic and Gardevoir through eye contact and actions before, Mu Chen's heart bled. Now, how is that any different from being a beast? Damn it, I've finally become a civilized person. Becoming a civilized person, Mu Chen naturally has his own civilized pleasures. For example, Pikachu, so stupid. Why didn't you just use Mega Drain to take that Geodude out of there? Ash, that idiot, told you to use TM10, and you used it? Mega Drain could have taken it out, why were you wasting your time? Look, that Geodude is back up now. Serves you right. You got hit. Don't listen to that idiot Ash anymore, listen to my commands instead. Looking at the Lilligant trembling with anger, Mu Chen laughed so hard he almost collapsed to the ground. On the cruise ship, Pokémon battles were naturally a must-do activity. As a battle maniac, it wasn't surprising that Ash participated in the battles. And at this moment, Mu Chen, who was just there for the ride, had clearly found a new form of entertainment. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 244 Dare to Take Advantage of Me? Ha! This is Cinnabar Island. Cinnabar Island. Ash has arrived. After several days of sailing, Ash and Misty finally set foot on the land of Cinnabar Island. Ash, Cinnabar Island was formed by solidified lava after a volcanic eruption. I heard that the fire-type gym here is inside a volcano. After resting for a few days, Misty had recovered all her energy and was once again a vibrant and beautiful girl. Inside a volcano? Huh. Inside a volcano is fine, don't worry about it. Come on, Misty, let's challenge the gym. If an ordinary person heard that the Cinnabar gym on Cinnabar Island was inside a volcano, they would definitely be afraid. But this ordinary person definitely does not include Ash. For Ash, no matter where the gym is located, he, Ash, will challenge and defeat it. Pikachu, ignoring Ash and Misty's conversation, Mu Chen was still teasing Lilyroot. Little guy, Cinnabar gym, fire-type gym, so, when it comes to the gym challenge, do you dare to go up against her? Lilligant, being a pure grass-type Pokémon, was clearly being sarcastic. What could he do? This little one always seemed to have something to say to him. On the cruise ship, he hadn't found an opportunity to get his hands on her. Therefore, she could only retaliate verbally. Luffy, HMPH. You idiot, I'm not going to listen to you. You'll still have to follow your master's orders, won't you? If you're so strong, go and challenge one of them. A fire-type gym, tisk, it'll definitely burn your fur off. Clearly, Lilligant was no less skilled in verbal sparring than Pikachu. As a grass-type Pokémon, she naturally wouldn't dare battle a fire-type Pokémon. Therefore, this little vixen was using reverse psychology. You think you're so tough? Go ahead and try. I want to see if those fire-type monsters can cook you up. Ha ha ha. Zioxia, look, Pikachu and Lilligant are full of fighting spirit too. Having arrived at Cinnabar Island, Ash certainly didn't intend to rest. Seeing Pikachu and Lilligant chirping, he misunderstood again. Pika, what the hell? Why do you always misunderstand? Full of fighting spirit? Give me a break, I was just disciplining my wife, okay? Hearing Ash's idiotic words, Mu Chen was speechless. This guy, why can't he be more careful? Wow. Beautiful lady, are you here for tourism on Cinnabar Island? I have the latest volcanic mud skincare products here, would you like to try them? Just as Mu Chen was criticizing Ash, an elderly man with a full head of long hair suddenly appeared from the side. This elderly man, dressed very stylishly in a bright red shirt and beach shorts, appeared in front of Xiaoxia. "Beautiful lady? Are you talking about me? Volcanic mud? What's that?" Suddenly flattered, Xiaoxia smiled sweetly. After all, girls generally enjoy being praised. A slight shyness passed, and Xiaoxia became very interested in the volcanic mud the old man mentioned. "Huh. Volcanic mud is a specialty of our Red Lotus Island. Beautiful lady, you'll see if you try it, it's very good for a girl's skin." Seeing Xiaoxia's response, the old man became even more excited. Ignoring everything else, while answering Xiaoxia's question, he took out a lump of black mud and began rubbing it on the back of her hand. "Oh, sir, just tell me the effect, you don't need to do this." Seeing the old man's enthusiasm, Xiaoxia felt embarrassed. How did this "let's try it" turn into a direct product trial? Ha ha ha. It's alright, beautiful lady. Only by trying it yourself can you know the effect. Here, have some here too, and here, and here. The old man's purpose was clearly not to sell some rubbish volcanic mud. Seeing that Xiaoxia had taken the bait, the old man's eyes immediately lit up. Then, under the guise of applying this rubbish volcanic mud, his hands began to roam restlessly over Xiaoxia's body. "Oh dear. Sir, you don't need to do this." Xiaoxia hadn't noticed anything at first, but the old man's large hands became increasingly inappropriate, and Xiaoxia finally gave a shy reminder. "Ha ha ha. It's alright, volcanic mud is meant to be applied to the whole body. Beautiful lady, if you're interested, you can come to my dojo, and I can treat you well." Having taken a small advantage, the old man was clearly not satisfied. Just as he was about to continue to deceive Xiaoxia and get her to do this rubbish full-body application with him, a bolt of electricity suddenly struck the old man hard. "Pikachu, holy crap! Volcanic mud? Volcano my ass! You dare touch my girl? And you dare take advantage of me? You don't want to live anymore." The one emitting the electric shock was naturally Pikachu in Xiaoxia's arms. Mu Chen hadn't paid any attention to the old man at all. This old man looked like a salesman trying to sell to outsiders. But who would have thought that this old bastard would actually start taking advantage of Xiaoxia? I could tolerate him touching the back of her hand, but he actually dared to touch her from there? How could he tolerate that? If it weren't for the crowded street, and if it weren't for the fact that killing this old man with a 100,000 volt would cause trouble for Xiaoxia, Mu Chen would definitely have given him a fully charged 100,000 volt. I'm always the one taking advantage of others. I never thought that today I would be taken advantage of by a lecherous old man. Ouch! Pikachu, no. Seeing that the old man was getting more and more outrageous, Xiaoxia was about to refuse him. Unexpectedly, before Xiaoxia could speak, Pikachu unleashed an angry electric shock. Seeing the old man's long hair standing on end, resembling a broom head like Yamazaki Ryuji from a video game, Xiaoxia quickly intervened. Of course, Xiaoxia wasn't blaming Pikachu, she was just afraid the little thing would kill the old man with its electric shock. "Pika, damn it. You old bastard, you're lucky today, just don't let me catch you again." Not satisfied with just one electric shock, Mu Chen unleashed another electromagnetic wave at the old man experiencing the electric shock, finally stopping his attack. "Huh? Xiaoxia? Why are you running?" However, Ash, walking ahead, was completely unaware of what was happening behind him. Seeing Xiaoxia suddenly grab Pikachu and run quickly, he was utterly bewildered. "Ash! Run!" Xiaoxia shouted as she ran. Good heavens! Pokémon attacking humans in the city center. If Officer Jenny were to arrive, it would be a huge problem. Chapter 245 Xiaobo. "Pikachu, thank you so much. But please don't be so impulsive next time, it can cause big trouble." "Don't worry, I can protect myself. I won't let that old man take advantage of me." After running all the way away from the scene of the crime, Xiaoxia, panting, spoke to Pikachu in her arms. Xiaoxia wasn't stupid, she naturally knew why Pikachu had suddenly attacked the old man. Seeing how protective this little rascal was of her, Xiaoxia felt a surge of sweetness. However, this little rascal was a Pokémon, and attacking humans was hard to explain. Helpless, Xiaoxia could only grab Pikachu and run away quickly. "Pika Pika, protect yourself? Damn it! That old man took advantage of you, even your hands and arms. Is that what you call protection? Next time, be more careful." "It's only because I acted quickly, otherwise, Who knows where that old man would have smeared that mud on you? Hearing Xiaoxia's words, Mu Chen was greatly dissatisfied. Damn it, I was careless this time. From now on, forget about arms. Anyone who dares touch Xiaoxia's hand, I'll give them a shock. Alright. I didn't expect you to be so jealous, huh? After Pikachu's series of gestures, Xiaoxia finally understood what it meant. Seeing Pikachu still looking indignant, Xiaoxia teased it playfully. Pika, jealous? That's a man's basic duty to protect his girl, okay? Seeing Xiaoxia say this, Mu Chen could only sigh helplessly. Damn it, system, isn't Meowth supposed to be able to talk directly to humans? Why can't I use any gestures? When he first obtained Meowth's genes, Mu Chen only noticed that it could understand the language between Pokémon. But then it realized that Meowth could actually speak human language. But no matter how Mu Chen experimented, it couldn't utter a single human word, and could only manage Pika Pika. Puzzled, Mu Chen naturally asked the system more than once. As for the result, the system decisively entered its aloof mode, completely ignoring him. Unable to get an answer, Mu Chen could only guess. Ultimately, Mu Chen guessed it was a problem with his vocal cords. His vocal cords seemed only able to produce the sound of Pikachu Pikachu, Xiaoxia. What are you doing? You were lagging behind before, and then you just ran like crazy. Just as Mu Chen was still communicating with Xiaoxia using sign language, Xiaoxia finally caught up. He had been so focused on the gym challenge that he hadn't paid any attention to Xiaoxia behind him. This meant that Xiaoxia had no idea what was happening behind him. Now, having caught up with Xiaoxia, Xiaoxia was still completely bewildered. What's going on? Wasn't I the one who was supposed to challenge the gym? Why is Xiaoxia in such a hurry than me? Ash, you're really something. Okay, don't ask any more, it's nothing. Let's go challenge the gym. Seeing Ash's bewildered expression, Misty was helpless. Luckily, this guy was just her partner, her friend, not her boyfriend or anything. Otherwise, she might have been kidnapped without even knowing it. You know I'm going to challenge the gym. But look at the direction you're running, it's not the direction marked on the map. I was wondering what was wrong with you, I didn't expect you to be so forgetful. Misty, hearing about the gym challenge, Ash's attention was indeed diverted. Picking up the map, Ash immediately complained to Misty. I never thought Misty could be so forgetful, she actually led me the wrong way. Okay. I was just in a hurry. You have the map, I don't know the way. Misty could only helplessly accept Ash's complaints. He couldn't very well tell him that Pikachu, that little rascal, was jealous because someone touched his hand, could he? Who would believe that? Following the map, Ash and Misty quickly found the Cinnabar gym. Looking at the gym, nestled behind a town near the mountains, Ash couldn't help but believe Misty's earlier words. This gym might really be built on a volcano. Is anyone there? I'm Ash, a trainer from Pallet Town. I want to challenge the gym. Arriving at the closed gym gates, Ash loudly introduced himself. While other gyms were always open, the Cinnabar gym's doors were firmly shut. Reluctantly, Ash could only introduce himself to the air. As for pushing the door open? No way. As a model citizen of the new century, Ash would never do something so impolite. Hey, where did this brat come from? Stop making noise, there's no one inside. After calling out for a while without a response, just as Ash was about to give up in frustration, an old voice suddenly came from behind him. Attracted by the voice, Ash and Misty quickly turned around. What they saw stunned Misty. That peculiar broom-shaped haircut, that bright red shirt, those dazzling beat shorts, who else could it be but the old man from before? Pikachu. Seeing that the old man dared to show up again, Mu Chen was ready to attack at any moment. Damn, he's pretty resistant to electricity? Huh? Nobody's here? What should I do? I need to challenge the gym. Although Ash was also curious about the old man's flamboyant style, he was more concerned about his gym challenge. Huh? It's you again? Ouch! You little mouse, that shock hurts so much? You're the ones who want to challenge the gym? Fine. Come with me. I am Blaine, the owner of this Crimson Gym. As the saying goes, enemies are especially hostile when they meet. Seeing Misty and the Pikachu in her arms, Blaine was filled with rage. Damn it, he didn't gain much advantage and instead got shocked. Even his carefully styled ramen noodle hair has turned into a grotesque mess. Blaine couldn't let this go. Old sir, you're the gym owner? Haha. That's great. As the saying goes, you search high and low, only to find it right under your nose. Ash really hadn't expected that the person in front of him was actually the owner of the Crimson Gym. You want a challenge? What about this little girl? Let me tell you, this old man is in a bad mood today. If it's a challenge, I'll only accept this little girl's challenge, this little mouse's challenge. Blaine completely ignored Ash. At this moment, his eyes were only on that wretched yellow mouse. Damn it, how dare you ruin my good time? And dare to change my hairstyle? I'll teach you a lesson today. Only accept Pikachu's challenge? Ha ha ha, it's alright, old man, this Pikachu is my Pokémon. Although he was very curious about the old man's rules, for Ash, being able to challenge was enough. Chapter 246 The Competition Venue on the Lava. HMPH. Kid, the rules of my Cinnabar Gym are simple. 1-on-1. If you can defeat me, the Cinnabar Gym badge is yours. However, you must send this Pikachu, entering the gym. Blaine angrily explained his rules to Ash. Of course, these rules varied depending on the person. Since Pikachu had ruined his plans and even changed his hairstyle, Blaine was determined to teach it a lesson. As for why it had to be 1-on-1, Blaine planned to send out his strongest Pokémon to defeat this yellow-skinned rat in one match. Okay. No problem, Ash, of course, had no idea of Blaine's plans. Hearing that one match would decide the winner, Ash was actually happy. This would save a lot of time, and he could even enjoy a good tour of Cinnabar Island afterward. Baby, yellow-skinned rat, I specifically asked to fight you. You've been bragging to me all this time. Then you'd better show me your skills. Let me see just how strong you really are. Be careful, don't get roasted. Just as Ash and Blaine were confirming the rules, the Lilliard in his arms launched a new round of taunts at Mu Chen. Hearing the old man specifically request Pikachu to participate in the battle, Lilliard was filled with malice. HMPH. Just because it's bigger than me, was born earlier, and has been with its master longer, right? Today I'll see how you fight those fire-type monsters. Pikachu, shut up, stay away. Too lazy to pay attention to Lilliard, Mu Chen quickly began to adjust to his state. Damn it. It dares to specifically request me to fight? You old bastard, I'll make you explode with electricity. Ding ding, random mission activated. As a real man, your girl has been taken advantage of and even provoked like this. Can you stand it? As the system, I can't stand it anymore. Go, young man, teach this shameless old man a lesson. Mission requirement, defeat Blaine's Pokémon. Mission reward, base stat increase of 30-50 points. Failure penalty, if you can't even uphold your honor as a man, you might as well jump into lava and commit suicide. Oh, and before you commit suicide, this system will randomly shorten your penis by 2 centimeters. Holy crap, you're mocking me too? Just as Mu Chen ignored the lily root doll and began to adjust to his state, the system's voice came from his mind. This time, the system's voice was different from its usual mechanical tone. Instead, it was full of mockery. Clearly, this guy was also watching him make a fool of himself. Zaya Aksha was taken advantage of, he was provoked, and even the system was adding fuel to the fire. Mu Chen's anger surged even more fiercely. Alright. We're here. This is my gym's arena. Kid, if you want to give up, you still have a chance. Just as Mu Chen was building up his anger, Xiaobo's voice rang out again. Attracted by the voice, Mu Chen quickly looked up. What he saw made his heart sink. What the hell? Are you kidding me? Looking at the billowing lava below, and the arena with only a few pillars protruding from the lava as footholds, Mu Chen's mind was racing. What the hell? Is this a arena? This is a volcano. You want me to fight on boiling lava in a volcano? I'm Pikachu, not Firecat. Seeing this arena, Mu Chen suddenly felt that earning base stats wasn't so easy after all. Is this something a human will do? This arena? Sir, you've come to the wrong place, haven't you? Even the stubborn Ash exclaimed in disbelief upon seeing the arena. This is a Pokémon battleground? This is ridiculous. In this kind of arena, aside from fire-type Pokémon that aren't afraid of lava, any other Pokémon would be at a huge disadvantage, let alone a Pikachu that can't fly. Wrong place? No. This is my gym. What, kid, are you giving up? Blaine sneered upon hearing Ash's doubts. Kid, scared now? HMPH. Dare to offend me, Blaine? Ash, let's go. We shouldn't challenge this Cinnabar gym. Seeing Blaine's attitude, Misty quickly tried to persuade Ash. How could a battle be held in this kind of arena? Letting Pikachu battle in this arena would be tantamount to murder. Damn it, although filled with resentment, Ash wavered in the face of this arena. Although he was stubborn, Ash wouldn't willingly push his Pokémon into a fire pit, would he? Ha ha ha. Scared? Very well. Then give up. However, if you give up now that you've come this far, you must accept punishment. First, this wretched yellow-skinned rat must apologize to me. Then, this beautiful lady must stay too, as I haven't finished my volcanic mud skincare routine with her yet. Seeing Ash and Misty's hesitant expressions, Blaine coldly stated his conditions. HMPH. My gym isn't a place you can come and go as you please. As a researcher for Team Rocket, Blaine has never been known for his good temper. If it weren't for concealing his identity, Blaine would have even wanted to take action right now and keep Ash and Misty here forever. Pikachu, damn it. You old bastard, you're asking for it. Hearing Blaine's arrogant words, Mu Chen didn't even wait for Ash and Misty's reaction before leaping out of Misty's arms and landing on a pillar standing on lava. Pikachu, do you want to fight? Alright. Let's fight then. Hearing the old man's outrageous demand, Ash was furious. Now, seeing Pikachu actively seeking a battle, Ash immediately cast aside all his worries. So what if it's lava? So what if it's a volcanic field? As long as we have the determination to win, we won't fail. Oh? You little brat have quite the temper. Fine, since you're asking for a beating, then don't blame this old man. Go, my partner, Charizard. Seeing that Pikachu had actually jumped out to challenge him, and that Ash, this brat, was no longer afraid, Blaine sneered inwardly. Originally, I planned to teach you a lesson, and then have this young lady stay and study human body art with this old man. But since you've actively sought a beating, then don't blame me. Chapter 247 Battle Against the Duck-Billed Dragon. Gurgle. Just as Blaine gave the command to summon Charizard, a roar suddenly came from below Mu Chen. Immediately, a Pokémon with a fiery red body and a shape resembling a large duck shot out from the lava. This was Blaine's main force, Charizard. Pikachu, what a load of crap. Just because you came out of lava doesn't mean I'm afraid of you. Seeing the Charizard, which had just sprung from the lava, seemingly wondering if its opponent was merely a Pikachu, Mu Chen was instantly enraged. Of course, this was only because Mu Chen could understand Pokémon language, otherwise, the creature would probably still be striking a pose, preparing for battle. Pikachu, use Thunderbolt. Watch your step. Now that Charizard had appeared, the battle had begun. Due to the limitations of the arena, Ash chose to strike first. If Pikachu could suppress Charizard with its powerful offensive capabilities, there would still be a sliver of a chance to win. Ha ha ha. Don't be naive. In this volcanic arena filled with lava, Magmar is invincible. Fight, Magmar, use Flamethrower, because of Pikachu's earlier electric shock, because that guy even followed up with an electromagnetic wave while walking, and because that bastard Pikachu ruined his chance to take advantage, Blaine showed no mercy. Gurgle. Receiving Blaine's command, Magmar unleashed a scorching flamethrower at Pikachu. Pika, damn it, do you think I'm afraid of you? Flamethrower? HMPH. I can use fire too. In the volcanic arena, Mu Chen naturally used fire-type energy. With a testing mind, Mu Chen didn't obey Ash's command, but instead unleashed a burst of fire-type energy. Boom, a violent explosion rang out. The two fire-type energies collided on the volcanic arena, and the difference in strength was instantly clear. Whoosh! After shattering Mu Chen's mysterious power, the Magmar's flamethrower continued its relentless assault on Mu Chen. Pikachu, holy crap! So powerful? Seeing that his mysterious power couldn't even block it, Mu Chen was immediately shocked. This Magmar's level is seriously high. At this moment, Mu Chen's base stats had reached 395, and his level was 39. In terms of skill clashes, even against Jesse's Charizard, Mu Chen was not afraid at all. But now, against this Magmar, Mu Chen's skill was actually annihilated. Without the slightest hesitation, Mu Chen decisively activated high-speed movement, instantly leaping to another pillar, barely dodging the Magmar's flamethrower attack. Ha ha ha. Little thing, keep dodging. Magpie Dragon, keep using flamethrower, let's see how long it can hide. Pikachu's mysterious power did indeed surprise Blaine. However, that was all. Regardless of how it learned its mysterious power, it was undeniable that it couldn't match Magpie Dragon's energy. Gurgle. Similarly, a single flamethrower sent Pikachu fleeing in a sorry state, and a hint of mockery appeared in Magpie Dragon's eyes. Little thing, you think you can fight against my powerful Magpie Dragon? Today, I'll let you take a hot bath in this lava. Whoosh, flamethrower was used again, and this time Magpie Dragon seemed to have transformed into a flamethrower, frantically attacking the constantly dodging Pikachu. You must know that the arena at this time was not a flat, regular field. On this lava, there were only a dozen or so pillars. Pikachu's hiding space was simply not much. Whether it was Blaine or Charizard, they both knew very well that as long as they maintained this level of firepower, Pikachu wouldn't last long. Damn it. Pikachu, counterattack. Use Thunder. Seeing Pikachu's space shrinking, Ash panicked. If this continued, not only would victory be impossible, but Pikachu's own safety would also be in jeopardy. That damn Blaine, he wasn't challenging a gym, he was murdering Pikachu. Pikachu, Mu Chen wouldn't use Thunder, a move that would deplete his electric-type power. But Mu Chen also knew that now was the time to counterattack. Seizing a gap in Charizard's attack, Mu Chen decisively unleashed Thunderbolt, striking Charizard hard. Zzz. The speed of electricity far exceeds that of fire, especially since this Thunderbolt was a surprise attack. Caught completely off guard, the Magmar became the first Pokémon to be hit in the match. Gurgle. Ouch! You wretched yellow rat, I'm going to kill you. Because of Meowth's genes, Mu Chen could now understand what his opponent was saying. Seeing the Magmar still so arrogant, Mu Chen sneered. Idiot, you think you can do this? After several rounds of testing each other, Mu Chen had a rough idea of the Magmar's strength. This thing was indeed very powerful, and its level was definitely much higher than his own. But that's all. Its reaction speed, the speed of its breath attacks, and even its resistance were all just so-so. Mu Chen wasn't afraid of this guy. At this moment, the only thing that could trouble Mu Chen was this damn arena. Because he had to consider the landing point of the pillars, Mu Chen's speed was greatly reduced. Otherwise, Mu Chen was confident he could beat it in a few rounds. Charizard, charge. Use Fire Punch. As Charizard's trainer, Blaine realized the problem. Clearly, this Pikachu's speed was astonishing. Defeating it with Flamethrower would be incredibly difficult. Therefore, Blaine immediately changed tactics, ordering Charizard to charge forward and engage Pikachu in close combat to limit its movement. Once Pikachu lost its space, it would be allowed to the slaughter. Gurgle. Upon receiving Blaine's command, a burst of flame erupted from Charizard's eyes. Charizard leaped into the lava. Then, before Mu Chen could react, Charizard, already lurking in front of him, suddenly sprang from the lava and delivered a powerful punch to Mu Chen. Chapter 248 Big Character Explosion. Pikachu. For the first time, Mu Chen was caught completely off guard and took a hard punch. Struck by the fire punch, Mu Chen felt as if his internal organs were being burned, a scorching energy wreaking havoc within him. Pikachu. Seeing Pikachu hit, Ash and Misty were also shocked. Pikachu, while often facing dangerous battles, was rarely hit so easily. But this time, in this volcanic arena, facing the Magmar that could burrow into lava, Pikachu still fell victim. Ha ha ha. Little thing, I didn't expect you to be so resilient. Well then, Magmar, keep attacking, use Fire Punch. Seeing that Magmar's first Fire Punch hit Pikachu, Blaine was overjoyed. Although surprised by Pikachu's resilience, Blaine knew that if Magmar continued its attack, it wouldn't be long before Pikachu couldn't hold on. Gurgle. With a punch landing squarely on Pikachu, the Magmar also won decisively. Damn it. You little brat, you dare to use your electric attack on Grandpa Pikachu? Today I'll let you taste Grandpa Pikachu's Iron Fist. Having gained the upper hand, the Magmar didn't even bother to dive into the lava, instead charging straight at Pikachu from the pillars. Pika Pika, damn it. Pikachu doesn't think I'm a ball unless it unleashes its power. The first sneak attack from the lava had indeed caught Mu Chen off guard. But now that the Magmar was charging straight at him, how could Mu Chen possibly fall for it? Seeing this guy's arrogance, Mu Chen didn't hold back. With high-speed movement and a flash of lightning, Mu Chen instantly traversed most of the arena, arriving at a distance of 6 or 7 pillars from the Magmar. Zzz. Having created enough distance, Mu Chen decisively activated his charging mode. You idiot. If you had kept using Flamethrower, I wouldn't have had a chance to charge it up. Now that you dare to switch to close combat, don't blame me for being impolite. Gurgle. Missing its first attack, the magma wasn't discouraged. With a loud cry, it charged at opposing Pikachu again. However, it didn't realize that danger was drawing ever closer. Now, Pikachu, use Thunderbolt. Previously, Pikachu had been at a disadvantage, and Ash was even considering having it use Thunderbolt to turn the tide. Now, seeing Pikachu successfully create distance and even charge up, it suddenly saw hope for victory. Pikachu's Thunderbolt, amplified by charging, was incredibly powerful. Pikachu, charging complete, facing the ever-approaching Magmar, Mu Chen naturally wouldn't hold back. Without a word, electricity surged wildly across Mu Chen's cheeks. Then, the leaping currents converged, forming a fist-thick bolt that slashed fiercely at the Magmar. Not good. Magmar, watch out for that Thunderbolt. Seeing Pikachu's astonishing attack, Blaine immediately tensed. The Magmar could withstand the weaker, instantaneous Thunderbolt, but this one was clearly much stronger. Even Blaine wasn't confident his Magmar could withstand it. Unfortunately, although Blaine reacted quickly, he was still a step too late. Gurgle, a painful roar came from the Magmar's mouth. The distance was extremely close, and Thunderbolt's speed was already incredibly fast. Although the Magmar reacted, it still had no way to avoid it. Having taken the full force of the Thunderbolt, the Magmar screamed as it was cleaved from the pillar and instantly plunged into the lava, disappearing without a trace. Ha ha ha. Well done, Pikachu, we won. After waiting for a while, and seeing no sign of the Magmar reappear, Ash celebrated excitedly. Clearly, the Magmar wasn't coming out because it was incapacitated. HMPH. The battle isn't over yet, Blaine responded to Ash's celebration with a dark expression. Blaine knew his own Magmar well, he knew it wasn't that fragile. Even with the incredible power of Pikachu's Thunderbolt, it couldn't defeat the Magmar outright. Gurgle, just as Blaine finished speaking, a furious roar rang out. The lava began to churn, and then the Magmar leaped out of it once more. Pikachu, holy crap. You recovered completely after just one round of lava. Mu Chen was dumbfounded, looking at the magma that seemed completely unharmed. Damn, does this lava have healing abilities? Should I go down and try it? Of course, this thought only flashed through Mu Chen's mind. The Magmar wasn't afraid of lava, and Mu Chen dared not try. Going down was easy, but getting back up would be a different story. Well done. I knew you could do it. Magmar, fight back. Unleash our fury. Use Fire Blast. After witnessing Pikachu's strength, Blaine had abandoned all his underestimation. This wretched yellow rat wasn't as easy to deal with as it appeared. Therefore, after the Magmar emerged from the lava again, Blaine decisively commanded it to use its ultimate move, Fire Blast. The power of Fire Blast, a fire-type move, far surpasses that of Flamethrower. Although this skill's release speed was slightly slower than Flamethrower, Pikachu was currently in a blind spot. Blaine believed that under the terrifying attack range of Flamethrower, no matter how fast Pikachu was, it wouldn't be able to dodge. Gurgle, with Blaine's command, Magmar roared again. Immediately, Magmar opened its mouth wide, and a terrifying amount of fire-type energy gathered in its mouth. Whoosh, before Mu Chen could react, the gathered fire-type energy was fiercely spewed out by Magmar. In the air, the fire-type energy spewed out by Magmar instantly formed a big character, heading straight for Pikachu. Pikachu, damn it, I'll risk it. Seeing the attack range of Flamethrower, Mu Chen knew that it was probably impossible for him to dodge. There was no other way, this terrible arena was too restrictive of his speed. With no other choice, Mu Chen could only take it head-on. Chapter 249 Let's chase the thunder together. Pikachu, with no way to avoid it, Mu Chen's fighting spirit was ignited. If you're going to fight to the death, then fight to the death. Of course, Mu Chen knew that relying on Thunderbolt probably wouldn't be enough to withstand this massive fireball attack. So, his choice was to use Thunder. You can use Fireball, I can use Thunder, both are powerful moves of their respective types. I refuse to believe I can't beat you. If this Magmar was at its peak, Mu Chen certainly wouldn't have dared to be so arrogant. But, after being hit by a Super Thunderbolt, its condition wasn't as good as it seemed. Through the energy fluctuations, Mu Chen could sense it. This fireball was extremely unstable. Obviously, this was just something Magmar forced out. Crackling sounds, with Mu Chen's activation, a dark cloud instantly formed above its head. Countless bolts of lightning leaped and rolled within the cloud, as if they were about to fall at any moment. What? Thunder. Damn it. Charizard, dive into the lava to avoid the thunder attack. During the previous battle, Pikachu's ability to unleash a 100,000-volt attack was already astonishing enough for Blaine. Now, seeing the signs of this thunder attack, Blaine's old face was instantly filled with shock. Is this Pikachu? A Pikachu that can use thunder? Are you kidding me? Although Blaine is a member of Team Rocket, his role is that of a researcher, so he's not entirely aware of recent events involving Team Rocket. That's why he'd never heard of this Pikachu that Giovanni had ordered captured. Seeing such a powerful thunder attack, Blaine's only option was to order Charizard to dive into the lava. If Charizard could successfully dive into the lava, the chances of avoiding the thunder attack were very high. Pikachu, good luck, Blaine was shocked, but Ash wasn't. When he saw the Magmar unleash its powerful flamethrower, it would be a lie to say he wasn't nervous. But then he saw Pikachu's reaction. The sky had changed color. Clearly, Pikachu was also prepared to fight the Magmar to the death. Both were stab moves, and Ash was full of confidence in Pikachu. This Pikachu was his starter Pokémon, and it had never disappointed him. Boom, 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 with a thunder's roar, a violent explosion resounded in this unique arena. Whoosh, amidst the thunder, a blazing flame in the shape of a large X continued its frantic advance, its target naturally being the Pikachu that had unleashed the thunder. Ha ha ha. Little thing, so what if you can unleash thunder? You're still going to be defeated by this old man. Seeing the flamethrower, piercing through the thunder, successfully appear before Pikachu, Blaine burst into laughter. Even if this Pikachu can use Thunderbolt, even if this Pikachu can use thunder. So what? No matter the final result, you'll still get hit first, won't you? Blaine believed that as long as Charizard's fireball hit its opponent, Pikachu would be severely injured, if not killed. But just as Blaine was overjoyed and preparing to see Pikachu get hit, just as Charizard was about to dive into the lava, Pikachu moved. Pika, do you think I'm stupid? I'll fight to the death, that's for sure. But what I want isn't some life-for-life exchange. Just kidding, even a fool could see the extraordinary power of this fireball. With Mu Chen's personality, how could he possibly choose to take it head-on? You see, Mu Chen's ability is Lightning Rod, and he can't be immune to fire attacks. Therefore, while using Thunderbolt, Mu Chen had already planned his next move. Just as Fireball was about to reach Mu Chen, this guy activated Quick Attack. His lightning flash landed precisely on a bolt of lightning falling from the sky. Lightning, in itself, is a form of physical attack. It's just that lightning is too fast to be detected. However, with his high-speed movement and the activation of Lightning Flash, Mu Chen was able to seize this fleeting opportunity. Relying on his immunity to electric skills, Mu Chen shamelessly used the falling lightning as a foothold, barely avoiding the massive explosion that had blocked his path. Boom! A violent explosion rang out, the massive explosion slamming into the pillar where Mu Chen had landed. But the only effect of this massive explosion was nothing more than a large, impressive firework. Pikachu, using the lightning as leverage, Mu Chen landed on a safe pillar again. When he saw the magma dragon preparing to leap into the lava to avoid the lightning, Mu Chen objected. Are you kidding me? This lightning strike will drain my electricity completely. Without electric-type moves, how can I possibly defeat this giant duck in melee combat? This lightning strike wasn't just about a quick dash from Mu Chen. Without a word, Mu Chen channeled all his power, unleashing a lightning bolt at the Magmar. Bang! Gurgle! The attack was too sudden, and the Magmar was immediately knocked to the ground. But that wasn't enough. Mu Chen knew that the lightning strike's effect didn't last long. The Magmar had to be struck by lightning. Therefore, after knocking the Magmar down, Mu Chen immediately grabbed one of its legs. His purpose, of course, was to use Hell Roll. Although Mu Chen's electricity was depleted, he could still use melee combat moves like Hell Roll. To ensure the Thunderbolt attack hit the Magmar, Mu Chen naturally changed direction, heading straight towards the relentless Thunderbolts. At that moment, Mu Chen transformed into Hunter, and his prey was the ever-present, devastating lightning. Gurgle! This time, the Magmar's cry was beyond description. Boom! 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 Carried by Pikachu, the Magmar became the perfect lightning absorber. Awesome! Pikachu! We won! Awesome! Finally, the thunder subsided, and the Magmar was completely blasted into a charred mess. Seeing the magma, which could never stand again, Ash celebrated excitedly. This time, Blaine could no longer utter a sound of protest. Looking at the jubilant Ash, and at the battle gym severely damaged by the lightning, Blaine felt a deep sense of helplessness. If that terrifying being hadn't been taken away by the boss. Chapter 250 The Return Journey. Pikachu, Pikachu, little thing, you've seen how powerful I am now, haven't you? Let me tell you, if you keep whining to me, I won't be so polite. Having defeated Blaine's magma, Ash naturally obtained the Crimson Badge he had been eagerly anticipating. Similarly, having defeated magma, Mu Chen now had something to brag about. Before, this little Lilligant hadn't even been born yet, so she hadn't witnessed those battles, and even if Mu Chen mentioned them, she would think he was just bragging. Now, finally having shown off in front of this little thing, Mu Chen decisively began to boast. HMPH. You've seen how powerful I am now? Let's see if you dare to talk back to me like that again. Lilligant, this time you were lucky, that magma was too stupid. Even if it were me, I could have defeated it. As the saying goes, even if you lose the fight, you can't lose face. Although Lilligant was shocked by Mu Chen's performance, she would absolutely not back down verbally. Pikachu, where did you get your confidence? Don't be ridiculous, can't you see how powerful that magma is? Are you blind? Let me tell you, little thing. You're my chosen wife, so learn from your two older sisters. If you keep nagging, I'll punish you with family discipline. Seeing this little guy still arguing with him, Mu Chen was speechless. This kid is really stubborn. Ash, are you really that sure the Viridian Gym will open? Ash and Misty, of course, couldn't understand the argument between the two Pokémon. After obtaining the Fire Red badge, Ash now had 7 badges. As for the last badge, Ash's choice was to take a boat from Cinnabar Island and return directly to Viridian City. At the beginning of his journey, because the Viridian City Gym was under renovation, Ash missed the gym challenge in the city closest to Pallet Town. Now, Ash's plan was to return the way he came to get this last badge. Don't worry, it's been several months already. Even if he's been renovating, it should be finished by now. Ash didn't seem to care about Ziox's concerns. Half a year had passed. No matter how much he renovated the Viridian Gym, it should be finished by now, right? Ash, you should still call and confirm. There's less than a month until the league tournament starts. If the Viridian Gym still isn't open, then you're in trouble. Ziox didn't need to elaborate on what she meant. In less than a month, Ash would have a very difficult time to go to other towns to get badges. At the very least, he simply wouldn't have enough time. Ziox could only worry about this carefree guy. Oh, don't worry, it's really fine. I trust my judgment. A halo of unwavering confidence emanated from Ash again. He completely ignored Ziox's advice. Ash, you're really driving me crazy. Seeing Ash's stubborn attitude, Ziox was utterly speechless. Where did this idiot get his confidence? If the Viridian City Gym is open, that's fine, but if it's closed, you'll have nowhere to cry. Left with no other choice, Misty had to make the confirmation call herself. What could she do? This idiot was her partner, and this idiot was Pikachu's trainer. Hello? Is this Big Sister? This is Misty. I wanted to ask if the Viridian City Gym is finished with renovations. Misty didn't know anyone in Viridian City. Therefore, she could only call her older sister at the Cerulean City Gym, Sakura. Misty? You little ingrate. You've been gone so long and only now you remember to call home? As your older sister, I thought you'd been kidnapped by some bad boy. Hearing Misty's voice on the other end, Sakura immediately launched into complaining mode. Oh dear. Big sister, none of that matters. Quickly ask if the Viridian Gym is open. We're on the cruise ship returning to Viridian City right now, and Ash is going to challenge him. Of course, Misty wouldn't tell her older sister this. She hadn't been kidnapped by any bad boy. Instead, her heart had been stolen by this rascal Pikachu in her arms. You're coming back? Haha. That's wonderful. Misty, perfect timing. Come to the Cerulean Gym first, I have something important to discuss with you. And that Viridian Gym you mentioned? They seem to have finished renovations and opened for business a while ago. Hearing that Misty had already embarked on her return journey, Sakura, the older sister, immediately became excited. Right now, their Cerulean Gym was preparing a new performance. They were short of an actor, and Misty's impending return was naturally exciting for Sakura. Ah! What's the rush? Confirming that the Viridian gym was open, Misty's worries immediately subsided. However, what puzzled her was why her older sister was so eager to bring her back. Could it be that something had happened at home? You'll know when you get back. Anyway, don't worry, it's good news. Sakura knew her younger sister very well. It was precisely because she hated performing that this girl chose to go on a trip. If she were told directly to come back and perform, even a fool would know she would refuse. Pikachu, the conversation between Xia and Sakura naturally reached Mu Chen's ears, who was in her arms. Hearing that Sakura was so eager to bring Xia back, and not knowing what was going on, Mu Chen immediately became alert. Damn it! Why do I have a bad feeling? According to those melodramatic plots from my previous life, when parents are so eager to bring someone back, and they say it's good news, most of the time it's to introduce someone to a potential partner. After Xiaobo's recent incident of taking advantage of him, Mu Chen realized that his possessiveness towards Xia had become even stronger. No way. I can't sit idly by. Xia's sovereignty must be defended. Mu Chen knew that his feelings for Xia Aksha had long since transcended the casual, opportunistic attitude of taking advantage of her. He had genuinely fallen in love with this girl who had given him so many firsts. Unfortunately, his current identity was a curse, leaving Mu Chen with no way to change. System. Come out. Is there any way to turn me back into human? For the first time ever, Mu Chen felt a powerful urge to become human again. Beep beep, please explore on your own, host. This time, the system gave Mu Chen an answer. Upon hearing this answer, Mu Chen's eyes lit up with a dazzling light. There was hope. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.